smokes, we only did one go around of the theme song today, and I'm on time. It must be Friendly Friday. That's what it's got to be. I do need a fuck ice hat. I definitely need one of those. Hold on one second. Let me put some headphones away here. That'd be cool. Blackish again? Yeah, blackish hat again. I got to get some new hats. I haven't had time to go. I don't know the last time I went to like a store to buy a hat. I don't even go to stores to buy clothes anymore. Somebody else just picks out my clothes. And what do I need clothes for? I wear a hoodie and a hat every day for work. You know what I mean? Is there a P.O. box? Yeah, there is I do have a P.O. box. In fact, I should check and see if there's... I haven't checked it in a little while. Let's check right now. I don't even remember... I don't even remember how to log into that. I think that's what it is. If you go into my bio, if you're on TikTok or YouTube or Twitch, you can go into my bio and there's a post box there, a PO box, and you can send stuff there. People have sent. I have a nice Iceland hat. It's actually in this other room right here from Asta Sophia. The hat I wore yesterday, somebody sent me. So yeah, there you can send stuff. I'm not always gonna wear it though. Gotta be honest. Like the Iceland hat, for example, I don't have anything that like matches with it, so I can't wear that one. Greenland hat would be cool. I'd like that. But good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I saw some of you over on Fax Live earlier this morning. I stopped by every once in a while. I like to say hi to Fax, and sounds like he had a good live this morning. I didn't catch most of it, but I caught the end of it. So it was good to see some of you guys over there on TikTok this morning. And happy Friday to each and every one of you. We're going to try and get to Friendly Friday today. I'm not sure. It's been increasingly more difficult to get to Friendly Friday, especially with everything going on with ICE right now. If we have time, we'll do it, but we may not do Friendly Friday today. We need to get back to the days when the news was a little slower so that we can get to Friendly Friday. Where's Johnny? Is Johnny here yet? Johnny, I'm saying hi to you already. I'm not ignoring you. I would never do that. Lee said, read Johnny's comment. Wait, did Johnny send a comment? Because if Johnny did send a comment already,
it was not long ago. It says, read my freaking comment.
It doesn't show up. The only comment I have, the first thing I have is from Lee's that said, read Johnny's friggin' comment.
No, his is there. It's there.
All right, Johnny. Maybe Streamlabs hates you. What'd you do to Streamlabs, Johnny? How dare you?
I mean, in fairness, I do post all of the comments in our chat.
Did you post it already?
It's there now. But yesterday I posted his comment multiple times.
This is weird. I'm going to send you a screenshot. Look at this. Let's see what's on. Actually, I'll just show you guys. Here's like what a screenshot looks like on my end. Then you can believe me. Just click on this. You can see here, like this is what it looks like on my end. So it shows me like when people
We're not saying anything.
Oh shit, that's right. Hey, at least we learned earlier. It's not very big here. Sorry about that. But this is what it looks like on my end with Streamlabs. So you can see like the people that have subscribed, and thanks for those people who subscribed. The first thing I saw was Lee's. Nothing from Johnny there. So Johnny, I just want you to know this isn't on me. This is on Streamlabs. I don't know why they hate you. That's bizarre. Yeah. All right. Wait, are you already pissing Patrick, you already pissing people off this morning?
Patrick seems to like it's his goal. Like I in the mornings I get all my screens up and ready, and Patrick is usually in here like starting bullshit first thing in the morning. Like it's kind of become his thing, I think.
You dick. Why are you already doing that? Also, Sophia said, well, the Iceland hat fits with a blue hoodie, white hoodie, red hoodie, black hoodie, or no, because it's the red and the blue together. That's the problem. I think it's possibly because of the way like I was raised. I was a BYU fan, and like our rivals were red. Just in my mind, red and blue do red and blue go together? Can you wear red and blue together?
To me, like when that in particular, I think of like my mind immediately goes to like patriotic stuff.
Yeah.
and or like gangs.
Gangs.
Like you can't have like you can't wear red or
You're
you
talking
can't wear
like
blue.
Bloods and Crips. That's what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah. That's what I think of. Yeah. So
All right. Well, I don't know. It's a thing with me, Asa Sophia. I'm sorry, but I do also. If people send me stuff, I want to keep it. So I usually don't wear them. Like the one I wore yesterday was just because it was from Minnesota, but most of the time that stays on my shelf. My brother actually stole that one for a while, and then it's back on the display. It's comment in the chat for me, but not at the bottom. Okay. Well, Patrick, I don't know what to do about you, man. What are you doing? There's no way that you are. There's no way that you're still supporting this administration. I don't believe you. I don't believe anybody still is anymore. I think some people are just like unwilling to give up and admit that they were wrong about this guy because it's getting pretty pathetic. Speaking of pathetic, we got our recap for the year for jobs and pretty good. Pretty good year for jobs. Here you can see this is all the years since 2000. These are all above the line is positive job growth, and below the line is negative job growth. You can see here these were recessions in 2003, and then coming out of that, obviously this was the housing collapse in 2008, 2009, and then of course COVID. And this is the worst year we've had since just coming out of a recession in 2002. What's the source? The source is the White House. Yeah, thank you. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So everybody, just a quick round of applause here for the Trump administration. Nearly being the best at being the worst at creating jobs. So any MAGA here want to explain this to me? How am I supposed to, what's the positive spin we're supposed to put on this? 584,000 jobs added. Oh, and the unemployment rate went up. So even those that say like, oh, we didn't add as many jobs because we were freeing up jobs by getting rid of immigrants. Well, fuck, the unemployment rate also went up. So that's not good. Right? We didn't create many jobs and more people don't have jobs than before. It's Joe Biden's fault. You know what's crazy too is that almost all the job growth happened before April. It was in April that Trump started like putting in his executive orders. That's when the tariffs went in. Once Trump started doing his stuff, it got worse. If he would have just sat around and done nothing, we probably would have had higher job growth. This is a historic backfire. Historic. Are we great? I don't know. I don't know if we're great. It doesn't feel great. Unemployment rates went down. Oh, Patrick. Let's see. What was the unemployment rate in January? Anybody know off the top of their head? It was 4%. What is the unemployment? What is the unemployment rate currently? I think it's like 4.3, isn't it? 4.4. Patrick, is 4.4 a higher or lower number than 4? Don't help him, guys. Don't help him on this one. Let's see if Patrick could do math. Higher or lower, Patrick? 4.4, is that higher or lower than 4? Higher, lower? It's higher, isn't it, Patrick? Patrick, we would like you in the chat now to say that you were wrong. Let's see if Patrick can admit that he's wrong. We might get this might be a record for earliest mute for Patrick today because we don't allow liars in here. Wait, black unemployment, isn't it above 8% now? I think it is, isn't it? Anybody check on Patrick? I got to see this, Patrick. You need to say, I was wrong. That's all you have to say, Patrick. I was wrong. It's 4.4, Patrick. But that would still be higher. Black unemployment went from January of 2025, we were at 6.2, and now it's at 8.2. Oh, 7.5. It went back down to 7.5 in December, it looks like. So that went up too. Patrick, you got to say, I'm wrong. Did he say it yet? You don't want to be muted this early, Patrick. You gotta show some integrity here this morning. I'm rooting for you. I want you to stay here, buddy. I want you to be here and learn some new things today. But we just can't keep liars around every single day. So Patrick, I need you to say I was wrong. Unemployment is lower or higher now. You got this. We cannot vote Patrick off the island. There are just rules. It's we're not doing that. A lot of you are voting for him to get the boot. We got to keep him around. I need something to make fun of. All right, let me know. Mods, if he doesn't say it, we're just going to have to mute him for the rest of the live. Sorry, Patrick. And mods, I'm going to forget about this. So if Patrick just like lays low for a little bit and doesn't say it and then starts commenting again, remind him that he needs to apologize. If he doesn't, just mute him for the entirety of the live. Sorry, Patrick. That's just the rules. I didn't make him. Oh, I did make the rules. Never mind. I did make that rule. All right. Also, in other super cool news, John Rocker, who is a former Major League Baseball pitcher.
Hold on, what's up?
Oh.
Did you see Johnny's comment just now?
I'm unemployed, but it's Luke's fault. Yeah, that one came through.
Okay, well, then it's not stream live.
Doesn't hate you anymore. So maybe it just takes a minute to load. Like maybe it doesn't pull up. Asta Sophia said, that's okay. I appreciate you holding onto the hat like a treasure. I will find a new one that you can use. I wear blue work clothes daily, and I have a red goat. I might find a suitable one from Iceland. Thank you. Anyways, John Rocker has decided that he wants to be Nick Shirley. Patrick owned up to it. Good job, Patrick. I'm proud of you. Well done. He's decided that he wants to be Nick Shirley, and now he's going around to daycares that are in people's homes. And this is what he's doing now. This is from somebody's Vivint doorbell camera. You'll see John Rocker, and I don't know who this other guy is.
All right, you want to go with that instead of... Hello? Housekeeping? I got me for pillow.
I really like it when people's jokes are recycled, repurposed, and terribly recreated lines from Chris Farley. That's his humor. Like his humor is still 1990s Chris Farley. That's where we're at here. This is John Rocker, though.
This door's bulletproof.
He just said, "Is this door bulletproof?"
Probably getting ready to find out.
They're about ready to find out. Just go into just any daycare. Again, no evidence that there's fraud here. It's just John Rocker, a racist piece of shit. How come all the racists are on your side? How come like the most like out and prolific racists are on your side? Why don't you guys run the racists out ever? How come they're allowed to just like mingle with you guys? Nobody cares? By the way, nice truck, John Rocker. I got to put on the big tires and I got to lift it real high. I'm going to drive over a mountain. Why can't you guys just get rid of the racists? Yeah, and who's threatening to shoot up a daycare now? Anybody want to answer that one? Anybody? We'll get to Minnesota too. If you're new here, just so you know, please don't come in and try and change the subject when I ask you simple questions like, why are you guys so cool with racists? If they got rid of racists, they'd have no base. That's true. That's true. Racism isn't a problem. There you go. Thank you for being honest. Thank you. I appreciate that. He has not aged well. I'm extremely uninformed. Got it. Which part of this am I getting wrong? This is John Rocker. I got the name right. I caught the threat where he was threatening a daycare, and he's a racist. Which part of this am I getting wrong?
They can't chuck a spear through this thing, can they? See, I should have said that.
Can chuck a spear through this thing, can I?
I should have said that right there.
could be a different John Rocker. Yeah.
Locks are brand new though.
Teachers want it. You should say you're here for the teacher's job.
Yeah. Just a little history on John Rocker. He played for, I think he played for back when it was the Cleveland Indians. So what are they now? I forget what they're called now. He was talking about, he did I think it was a Sports Illustrated interview, and he was talking about New York City. And he was like I think he was on the subway. Somebody can remind me if that's true. I think it was like for an interview, but he was being followed. He was on the subway. And he said that there was like some kid, and I'm going to just say the words that he says. So in advance, there's going to be some slurs here. He said some kid with purple hair next to some queer with AIDS, right next to him, some dude who got out of jail for the 4th time, right next to some 20-year-old mom with 4 kids. It's depressing. The biggest thing I don't like about New York are the foreigners, Asians and Koreans and Vietnamese and Indians and Russians and Spanish people. How the hell did they get in this country? He also called his own teammate Randall's Simon a fat monkey as a black man, and mocked Asian women during that same interview. In 2002, directed slurs at patrons in a Dallas gay neighborhood restaurant. He defended Ozzie Keaton's use of the slur FAG. I don't think I can say that one on YouTube in 2006. And he was consistently a contributor to I don't remember what the website was. Like, it's shut down now, but it was a legitimate like white nationalist website, a newsletter. He was consistently a contributor, and now he just walks around MAGA as one of you. And you guys are like, yeah, we like this John Rocker guy. I don't know why you guys don't just say you're racist. Just say that you're racist. I think that it's really rude of you to lie to your fellow Republicans and tell them that you're not racist, because you are racist and he's racist. Just stop lying about it. I really don't like racists, but I like even less lying racists. If you're going to be a racist, 10 toes down, and not just in the YouTube chat behind a screen name, go out in public and do it. Go out to these Republican events and do it. Don't hide it. Be who you are. I'm tired of you guys pretending. At least some of us are like honest about our views. You know, when we say ACAB and fuck ICE, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu, fuck Zion, at least we're honest. You guys got to be more honest. Okay? I appreciate that. And once again, not behind a screen name. Who's this loser using Dean Withers as his screen name and profile picture? How old's Dean? Dean's like, what, 21, 22? Imagine being a human being who takes a screenshot of Dean and makes a profile picture of Dean and then comes on here to be racist. Jesus Christ, man. Get it together. You got to get it together. That's pretty pathetic. That's pretty sad. Shout out Dean, wherever he is. That's not good, buddy. You got to be better than that. All right. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have now filed paperwork in district court. And what they're saying is should be pretty alarming. Put simply, they said the DOJ cannot be trusted with making mandatory disclosures under the act. This is the act requiring them to release the Epstein files. While we believe that criminal violations have taken place and must be addressed, the most urgent need now is for the DOJ to produce all the documents and electronically stored information required by the act. In its November 26, 2025 letter, the DOJ represented to this court the categories of documents in its possession, much of which has not been produced. Thus, in our capacity as, I think that's amici curiae, we suggest, pursuant to its inherent authority, the Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 53, this court appoint a special master. We now have to get somebody else to step in, an independent monitor, because our government cannot be trusted to follow the law. For the purpose of ensuring all the documents and electronically stored information are immediately made public to be in accordance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. We also suggest the independent monitor be given authority to notify and prepare reports to this court about the true nature and extent of the document production and if improper redactions or other improper conduct is taking place. We also suggest this court compel testimony from the person or persons most knowledgeable from the DOJ SDNY office about the production that has been made, the pending productions, and the representations that have previously been made to this court. Absent any independent processes outlined above, we do not believe the DOJ will produce the records that are required by the act and what it has represented to this court. That is a bipartisan letter pointing out that your party, your president, MAGA, are covering up for Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and all of their friends that are in the Epstein files. They're refusing to release it to you, and you are cheerleading it. That's pretty fucking crazy. We'll get to Minnesota here a little bit later, and I mentioned earlier, like, it kind of sucks that we can't ever even get to Friendly Friday. This administration is so corrupt that literally every single day we cover a story of how they are breaking the law. I actually forgot to add this to the outline. This was what was supposed to go next. I'm going to have to find this video real quick. But now we're starting to get leakers, people from the DOJ who are starting to leak to journalists the cover-up of the Epstein files. Let me find this real fast. I don't know why I didn't put it in here. Damn, I watched a lot of videos yesterday. There we go. This is from the Midas Touch yesterday. Kind of a little bit longer video, but we're going to watch it. Let me get through Midas and get right to here.
The Midas Touch is hard at work with FBI sources exposing Donald Trump's lies about the Epstein files. So why don't I bring in Katie Fang and Allison? Make sure you subscribe to their channels as well. Katie,
while this goes, watch MAGA cope as their party of pedophile protectors are exposed, and then watch them cope and seethe in the comments saying that we've lost our mind and libs this, libs that. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Just sit back and enjoy this presentation about your leaders and their willingness to cover for a pedophile. And you guys voted for one, by the way, probably. You didn't care. It didn't bother you that he sexually assaults women. None of that stuff bothers you. As long as he's as racist and mean as you guys are, you'll defend him to the end. I do want to say this. I've been feeling sad, like a lot of you have. A lot of you have been feeling sad about what's been going on in this country and the response from this chat. I reached out to 10 Republicans yesterday that I know personally. And we don't really talk politics, but I just said, hey, I don't want to argue anything with you. I'm not going to respond to this. I just want you to tell me what you think about the shooting in Minnesota. Just tell me what you think about it. 10 out of 10 said, I shouldn't have done that. This is a problem. 3 of them, unprompted, said, I'm voting for Democrats in the midterms. Small sample size. These are just the people that I know. I don't know if that's indicative of a bigger picture, but if I would have done that about any other issue, 10 out of 10 of them would have been on the opposite side as me. So just throwing that out there, that I do think that there are people out there who are watching this who don't want to be associated with these fucking losers in the chat.
take it away.
One of the greatest things about being in partnership with the Midas Touch Network is I get to work with other contributors like Allison Gill. And when she reached out to me about her sourced, confidential, anonymous, new information regarding the Epstein files and how it was linked to my recent reporting that shows that it's not plausible, feasible, reasonable, or the truth that the U.S. Attorney's Office or the FBI just suddenly discovered 1 million more documents right around Christmas time that dealt with Epstein, Maxwell, and others.
Okay, now remember, this is the story that they're telling. They're saying that they haven't released it all because they found these 1 million other documents in December. That's the story that they're telling. Are you going to be surprised when you find out that that's a lie? That they've known about these documents and had access to these documents all along? That they didn't just get 1 million more documents?
I jumped at the opportunity to be able to spend time with her. And so Alice and I got together and we recorded an episode that we are going to show you.
Were they Arizonians, Patrick? 4 of them lived in Arizona. 3 in Utah. 1 in Washington. one in Florida, one in Texas. Those are the people I reached out to.
You now so that you can be caught up on why it doesn't seem real that the U.S. Attorney's Office suddenly discovered these documents and why it just goes to show that the obstruction is the point.
I know I was supposed to take a break this week. I was supposed to have this week off, but I do have some exclusive breaking news that landed on my desk. And I have this for you. And this is about the claims made by Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal attorney, now Deputy Attorney General, who is still his personal attorney. And Todd Blanche's claims that, oops, we found 1 million never seen before Epstein documents. Now, he says he was contacted by the FBI New York field office and the Southern District of New York. Well, maybe he didn't.
3 that said they're voting Democrat, the one in Texas, one in Utah, one in Arizona.
Say it. Maybe the White House said it because now the White House controls the Department of Justice Twitter account, which is banana pants in its own right. That's a whole different story. But somebody at the DOJ social media account says that Todd Blanche was contacted by the Southern District of New York FBI field office. And whoa, we've got 1 million new documents. And he's put lawyers on it from the National Security Division at Maine Justice. We'll talk about that and who's part of that. And lawyers in the Southern District of Florida. There was a memo that went out that said, hey, lawyers in the Southern District of Florida, even though your life sucks and we fired all your colleagues and morale is in the shitter, we would love for you to spend your Christmas holiday kind of hinting at, hey, if you're Jewish, Hanukkah's over. Will you remotely redact these files and help, protect pedophiles? I'm sure you would love to do that for your holiday season. So we had that. And I actually reached out to sources, to sources at the FBI who I've spoken to before, I've been speaking to for most of the year, and sources at the Department of Justice who participated in the project to redact the Epstein files, also known as
so these are people working on the Epstein files. That's who they have. So there's how many thousands of agents that they spent. This is what this source is about to tell you. And you tell me if this jives with what the Trump administration's telling you.
FBI agents who worked on it, this bullshit. And they did this past March, and they have actually exposed Todd Blanche's lies. And like I said, I have that exclusive breaking news for you here on the Midas Touch Network today. So welcome to the breakdown.
Welcome everybody from the Facts Raid. Great to have you here. It was nice joining you this morning. Steve, if you're here, welcome.
I couldn't think of a better person to join me today because of some reporting that my colleague here at Midas Touch did about the 1 million document lie. Someone who's been reporting on this did a report the day after Christmas. My colleague here, like I said, at Midas, Katie Fang. Katie, hello, welcome.
Oh, Allison, it's so nice to be with you, and happy holidays.
Thank you. You as well. This is what we do over the holidays. Big ups to
Loretta, good point. Just because Trump was seen anywhere, let's be honest. Let's be clear about what this is talking about. So MAGA, you can stay on topic. I'll help you out. This isn't about what is in the Epstein files right now. This is about the Trump administration covering up the Epstein files. Whatever you might think about Donald Trump, he is required to keep the law. The DOJ is required to keep the law, and they're not. They're in willful defiance currently of the law, and they are just not releasing these files. It is a bizarre thing for you guys to come in here and act tough, hiding behind ICE, by the way. Look around and find out. You're all hiding behind screen names. At the same time, defending an administration who's telling you to your face, you don't deserve answers to anything. Sit there and cheerlead for us and shut the fuck up. And you're like, got it, Don. I'm going to go on YouTube now and cheerlead. They're saying it right to your face that you guys don't get to know the truth, and you should shut the fuck up about it.
And independent media for getting this information out. First of all, everybody needs to see your reporting on this alleged 1 million document discovery being peddled by Todd Blanche, who's already been caught in so many lies this term. Documentary evidence. I'm thinking of the Abrego case where he said I had nothing to do with the decision to charge Mr. Abrego with crimes. Oops, because of some discovery we pried out of the government. Turns out that was a lie. I feel like Maury Povich.
Yeah, Trump has been president for a small time. And during the time he was president, Congress wrote a law and signed a law and then or wrote a law, passed a law, and then Trump signed a law saying, I will release these, and then he didn't. He's the only president that could be in defiance of this law. You guys are running out of shit. It's getting dumber. Like the defense of Donald Trump in this chat has gotten progressively dumber out of, over a year. And what that tells me is that's what's left of people that are willing to go on the internet and defend Donald Trump are just legitimately dumb people. I think that's all we've got left. Just the dumbest of the dumb. Everybody else has abandoned you. You might feel like, hey, my voice is being noticed a lot more. That's because everybody that can read is like, we're out. We're done with this. Not you guys, though. You're still going to keep going with it.
Turns out, lie detector says that was a lie. So he's already been caught.
You are the father. Yeah.
You are the father of a bunch of bullshit.
A whole bunch of lies.
So, not only should he not be trusted, Katie, it should be assumed that the opposite of whatever he says is actually the truth. So
100%.
You went over a couple of letters and memos and statements that indicate that the Department of Justice has had the New York FBI field office and Southern District of New York Epstein files for a long time now. So let's start, and we're going to have a link in the show notes, by the way, to your report, because I absolutely love it. So let's start with the letter that Jamie Raskin sent to Pamela Jo Bondi pursuant to whistleblower survivors and survivors' attorneys who came and spoke to him as protected whistleblowers.
Yeah, you got to hand it to certain members of Congress that have doggedly made this a priority, in addition to all the other hard work that they've been doing on behalf of all Americans. And I always underscore this, that it's regardless of party affiliation, they're fighting for all of us, whether you like it or not, right? Whether you appreciate it or not, they are. And I think of people like Jamie Raskin and Robert Garcia and others, right? So Jamie Raskin, back on November 3rd of 2025, sent this letter to Pamela Jo. Pam Bondi, sorry. I call her Pamela Jo.
So do I.
Okay. Yes, Pammy Jo gets his letter back on November 3rd. And what's impeccable about Jamie Raskin is he brings receipts always. And not only does he have plethora of footnotes and endnotes, but he cites to the counsel for the Epstein victims and survivors when he says that up until January of 2025, and of course, no coincidences, right? When Trump gets sworn into office, there were representations made that there was an ongoing investigation into co-conspirators of Epstein, Maxwell, and others. And then suddenly and abruptly in January of 2025, not only are those investigations terminated, but the entirety of the Epstein case file is transferred to Maine Justice, which is what we refer to as the Department of Justice located in Washington, D.C.
Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd these investigations? Did they announce the results of those investigations? No, they just said, we're going to hide this information from everybody and we're going to take it from the Southern District as well. That's it. You got it. Come on, be better. Expect more out of the person that you signed your name next to. You checked the box for Donald Trump. Expect him. Just ask him to tell you the truth. Is that too much to ask for you folks? That he asks you, or that you ask him to tell the truth? We don't like when they tell us the truth. We just here and we want to be lied to. We feel better when we're lied to.
So Raskin, as early, we'll say early, not late, as
said to upset maggots, the party told you to reject. Oh, thank you. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. That's George Orwell from 1984. If any of you MAGA folks can read, I recommend it. If not, maybe the audiobook. But that's exactly what's happening currently. Is this administration is just like, don't pay attention to anything that you see or hear. Just whatever Donald Trump tells you is actually the truth. Like when Donald Trump told you that an ICE agent was run over by a car and that he couldn't believe that he survived. And then we saw the video and he might have got nudged in the knee at nearly 3 miles per hour. But Donald told you that he was run over. And Kristi Noem said that what was happening is all these brave ICE agents were helping dig a car out of a snowbank. And while they were bravely rescuing this car, this deranged woman drove into them as they were rescuing that car from a snowbank. That wasn't fucking true either. They just lied. They literally lied right to your face. And you're still only mad at us, not them. Not them for lying right to your face about stuff that you can see and hear with your own eyes. And you're like, we're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore that they lied. And we're going to go yell at the libs on the internet.
November 3rd of 2025, in his letter to Pamela Joe, states that there was an active investigation into Epstein and Maxwell's co-conspirators until January of 2025. And then in January, the Southern District of New York was ordered by Maine Justice to transfer the Epstein case files to DOJ headquarters in Washington, D.C. Since that time, January of 2025, crickets in terms of any type of outreach, active investigation, or active pursuit of any of the threads that you could pull, financial or otherwise, that could be relevant to Epstein and Maxwell. And so when I saw that, Allison, I was like, whoa, hold a second. How in the world can Todd Blanche, as the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, now make a public affirmative representation to us as Americans that they, quote unquote, suddenly found more than 1 million documents?
Right. And, then you brought up.
So Todd Blanche also lied. MAGA, anything? Or are we just going to keep ignoring what's happening on the screen and desperately try and get the chat to talk about anything else? It is Friendly Friday, and in honor of Friendly Friday, we are going to bring back ICE today. If you're new here, we have our own ICE. Those are our moderators. And we have decided to adopt an immigration policy that would line up with what you guys want. A very strict immigration policy where we require you to come, if you come here into our live, you have to assimilate. So this is really going to fucking suck for a lot of you. I'm not going to do full mutes, but anybody who is not talking about the Epstein files right now in the chat, if you're not talking about what's on the screen, you will be muted for 5 minutes at a time. No warnings, muted for 5 minutes at a time. Anything you say in the chat that is not related to what I'm covering at the moment will result in a 5-minute mute. You will be deported, and you can get to the back of the line, and you can wait the waiting period to come back into this live. And when you get back here, you better fucking assimilate. You will speak the language that we want you to speak. So you will stay on topic today, and this is as a gift to the users here for Friendly Friday. We will stay on topic. This is a classroom setting today, and if you don't like the immigration policy, you might want to rethink your own immigration policy for migrants here. And if you are saying that it's unfair, we would call that whiny bitch privilege. And you, as Republicans who complain about immigrants, have whiny bitch privilege, and we don't really deal with that here, and we want to help you get over that. So if you're complaining, if you're insulting now that we're gonna do this, like, you don't get to come into this live and tell us how to act. You don't get to tell us what to say. You don't get to tell us how to act. You will assimilate to our culture, goddammit, or you will be muted. So enjoy your day today. Stay on topic if you can. If you can't, sorry, we're not going to see your comments. We are not tolerant today. Thank you.
A letter from Pammy Joe to Kash Patel that she wrote way back on February 27th. And it had something to do with, I've heard that there are now a bunch of files that you found in New York. You need to send them to me. You have until tomorrow morning, and then you have 14 days to tell me why, et cetera. So talk about that letter as well.
Well, that was kind of outrageous. And let me be clear, too. Congressman Raskin, Jamie Raskin, also demanded information for Pamela Joe. And of course, they got nothing, right? Because why bother? Why bother to have transparency in your...
Why bother have Congress acting as a check? Why bother having equal or co-equal branches of government when you can just worship Donald Trump? Koska says, new assistant AG for fraud to report only to JD Vance and Trump. No more separation between DOJ and White House. Basically, White House justice, talk about 1984. Yeah. So now the Trump administration, realizing that they're in trouble, and we'll get to that later, now they're saying, we're gonna get rid of this separation between us and the DOJ, and now we're going to be in charge, and we're just gonna we're gonna choose what you guys hear. We're gonna present the information that we want to. And by the way, if you lose the midterms, all of these people are being are going to be impeached. You guys are in real trouble because now we're covering up. Like, now we're at the cover-up stage of this. We're at the part that got Nixon impeached and removed. People in YouTube are saying it's good now.
You see that it's connecting? Your side or something?
It should be good now. All right, start again. Muting doesn't go both ways, by the way. Whoever said that. Muting only goes one way here. Just people who won't stay on topic.
Kash Patel on this letter that late yesterday, as of February 26th, I learned from a, quote, source
Mm-hmm. I mean, it says I'm good. All right, YouTube, we back yet? This is crazy. It is interesting. I was telling Jen that the other day that, like, when we talk about Epstein, this happens. I did turn off the internet for a second on Twitch. Sorry about that. We should be good. I reset it. We're back. All right.
The government a little bit of grace and being a little generous, that the Department of Justice would have received all the New York files probably in March. Okay. Now, Katie, when I saw those letters, I reached out to the same sources who told me about the 1,000 people locked in the building, confirming Jason Leopold's reporting from March. I got new information about there being an Excel spreadsheet to log Trump's name in a master file Excel spreadsheet.
I remember that report from you. Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation with training videos on how to find and redact Trump's name and mark stuff for redaction in the Epstein Transparency Project, which is hilarious. Well, I reached back out to them about these letters. And again, these are the same ones who told me about the training videos, which again was confirmed by Jason Leopold this past November. And sources say that not only did New York send over everything they had in March, but that the entire review process using the 1,000 analysts from the Information Management Division at the FBI, that exercise was specifically to review the boxes of files from New York, 300,000 pages, 100,000 files from New York. And they were to redact them and send them to the Department of Justice for eventual release. That was their job. And one source told me it was a comprehensive set of files from New York, with some of the files dating back to 2009, around the sweetheart deal time.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just like we found a couple of files, or we found some grand jury materials, or we found the 302s. This was supposed to be a comprehensive set. And they have confirmed that entire exercise in March, where they paid $1 million in overtime for a week, when they locked the 1,000 people in the building, 24, 48-hour shifts. That review was the review of the New York files Pam Bondi asked Kash Patel for in the February 27th letter. That's according.
Okay, so when Todd Blanche now says, and we can cut it off there, you can watch the rest of this on Midas Touch, but Todd Blanche, when he tells you that they need more time because they got 1 million files in December, the 1 million files they have had since earlier this year, and they went and reviewed all of them and paid $1 million in overtime. They're lying. I'm sure we lost a lot of MAGA here after the internet crashed, but they're just lying. And now you have whistleblowers willing to go to Midas Touch, and they'll be willing to testify, saying, "Yeah, we already did this. We don't know what's going on. We have no idea why Todd Blanche is lying about this. We've actually all reviewed this already." Yeah, they've had them, since 2018, but there were active investigations, and so they couldn't release them. But now they can. They are just straight up lying about this. Question this, but when Trump says he wasn't there, you believe him? Yeah. All right, moving on. Thomas Massie, who now has been accused. Donald Trump appeared with on a social media post with the guy that's running against Massie. I don't remember his name. He's former military. And Trump said that Massie never votes with Republicans. And here was Massie's response, which was beautiful.
This is gutsy what you're doing, and President Trump is targeting you. You're up for re-election this November, obviously. On Monday, President Trump posted on Truth Social a photograph of him with your primary challenger,
Relax, Scott. Calm down.
Navy SEAL officer Ed Gallarine. Trump writing that Captain Ed Gallarine has my complete and total endorsement against, quote-unquote, Congressman Thomas Massie. He only votes against the Republican Party, making life very easy for the radical left, unquote. Obviously, that's factually incorrect. I'm sure you vote with the Republican Party like 90 or 95% of the time, but what's your reaction?
Yeah, I vote 91% of the time with the party, but when they're covering up for pedophiles or starting a new war or doing regime change or bankrupting the country, and that 9%, Jake, I'm not with my party. It definitely hurts me to campaign with the president against me. I've got a Republican primary. It's going to be hotly contested. And that's why, Jake, you don't see other members of the Republican Party sticking their necks out. They're afraid of the president. Ironically, though, after that tweet, I raised $80,000 in people who want to see somebody up here who will speak their mind and speak for their constituents instead of just for their party. And by the way, most of those donors are Trump supporters. They just want to see a Republican who will exhibit some independent thought.
Republican Congress.
Yeah. Not Trump supporters now, though. The ones that we have here, the thing that they hate more than anything is independent thought. Yeah, that's why Tom said Trump, baby. That's why you guys are now just like chanting Trump's name. Anybody who says anything different than what you believe or what you want to hear or anything that's against Donald Trump, you just tune it out at this point. W. Massey, thank you. I agree with that. We need a list of the names of Democrats and Republicans the Republicans are protecting. Yeah, we'll take all names. Like, show us all the stuff with Clinton. Show us all. Show us. You know who isn't in those files? Joe Biden, Barack Obama. Last two Democrat presidents, nowhere, not even a mention in those files except for when they're talking about like Trump and that Trump's campaigning against them. Bill Clinton said to release all the files. Yeah, he doesn't care. Maybe that's bravado. Maybe there's stuff in the files that look really bad. Like Trump has also other times said release all the files. I mean, that's what you do. But now that Trump's in power, now that he can release all the files, suddenly we're not getting all the files. And that now Thomas Massie demanding the transparency that Trump promised, he's become the enemy because he's asking Trump to follow through on a promise. And MAGA, who he promised this to, is not going to be mad at Trump. They're going to be mad at Thomas Massie. How dare you hold him accountable? We don't do that over here. We don't like accountability. We just point the finger at everybody else. Obama's in there? Where? Where's Obama, Tom, in the... Tom, also, one thing we don't do here is lie. So where was Obama in the Epstein files? Can you let me know where that is? I've seen what's been released. I haven't seen Obama in there once. Or are you just saying that? Because is this like a hopeful thing for you, Tom? Doesn't matter. He just says doesn't matter. I'll give up. Tom gave up immediately. Where's Obama? Doesn't matter. I love Trump. Trump wonderful. Yay! Just gives up immediately. Good try, bud. All right. I want to talk a little bit about healthcare real quick. I saw Andy Ogles, who's a fucking idiot. Listen to the Republicans don't have a plan. They just keep saying the same thing, which is nonsensical, and they must know that. They must know that this is nonsensical. But here's now Andy Ogles from Tennessee talking about the Republicans' plan for healthcare.
We need to put the power of healthcare back into the hands of the individual. As the president has said, let's take those subsidies, instead of giving them to insurance companies, let's put them into the hands of individuals so they can buy their own policy out on the free market.
From who? From who? Let's not give these insurance companies any more money. Let's give the money to the people so they can buy insurance. From who? Insurance companies? Who else would you buy? This doesn't even make any sense. Imagine imagine any other scenario where this was the case. Like, let's just take SNAP, for example. Like, people that get SNAP benefits. Where do they get SNAP benefits and they can go spend it at places, they can go spend it on food at places that accept SNAP, right? If you said we're just going to give these people the money and then they can go spend it on food, how's that any different? In fact, the reason that with SNAP benefits we don't just send people a check is because people thought that if you send them just the money, then they won't spend it on health insurance. So then why are you giving them the money? Right? So that's why SNAP has like its own procedures to make sure that when the government gives out money or subsidies, that it is spent in the manner in which they intend for it to be spent. So now what they're advocating for is just giving people money instead. And if they are going to go buy health insurance, they're going to buy it from health insurance companies at a higher rate because it's not collectively bargained like it is through Obamacare. You can run this test yourself. Go into the Obamacare marketplace if you qualify for a subsidy and go pick out a plan and go through the steps and see what your monthly price is going to be with the subsidy. Then go out and leave the marketplace and just go to that, whoever was providing that insurance, go to their website. So let's say it's Aetna. Go buy it on Obamacare on the healthcare.gov marketplace, and then go just to their website. It will be more expensive on their website than it will be through the marketplace. So now what they're saying is give people money to go buy health insurance that's more expensive. So now we definitely aren't going to be able to track this money. And then what will Republicans do in like 5 years? They'll go and they'll be like, we did an audit and it turns out these people who were getting subsidies to buy health insurance were spending it on jet skis instead. Yeah, because you handed people cash and you didn't track where they were spending it. And then they'll be like, no more subsidies for health insurance. That's what they'll do. We've seen this game before.
Competition is a good thing, and Obamacare takes that away. It's a
the competition is a good thing. This isn't competition. You can already buy healthcare however you want. It's just that if you want the subsidies, you got to do it through the marketplace because we're not going to send you a check.
failed health care policy, and quite frankly, some of my friends voted for that package. I'm disappointed, but we've got to move on to the next battle. Hopefully, the Senate will do the right thing and will block this, won't even take it up, and America will be saved from another boondoggle as we continue to fund the government and, quite frankly, find a solution for health.
You can't what? What are you saying you can't do? You can't buy health insurance? Is that what you're saying? Do you guys know how this works? Correct, Tim. Obamacare is not a thing. There's no such thing as Obamacare, Tim. It's the marketplace. Let me just show you what Obamacare is. This is what they're talking about. We've done this before, but I guess maybe some of you guys have never done this before. This is healthcare.gov. This is what they're calling Obamacare. And if I go in here and I want to, you go in here and you can apply for coverage. I'm not going to do that because it would make me show all my personal information, but go there. That's where I was born, in Utah County. And I can skip all this stuff and I can just see the full price plans. I could either enter my information and get the plans with a subsidy, or I can go here. Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah. So I can go in, I can get the premium here, or I can go Regent by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield in Utah. That's a secondary. Let's get these are all ads, I think. It's health plan, Regents. Or I can go here. Same thing. See how it's the exact same thing? Yeah, it's like buying there you go. It's like buying a flight through Expedia or going and doing America Airlines or Southwest. Just different ways to buy it. So they're not advocating for anything at all. They're just saying, instead, we're going to add an additional step where we'll send you the money and then you have to go find the health insurance yourself. And if they're sending you money, Tim, then it's subsidized insurance prepaid by the taxpayer. No, it's the exact same thing, Tim. The only difference is here, if I go to healthcare.gov, the way it's set up now, it's they automatically apply that discount, and then the Blue Cross Blue Shield will bill the government for that. So you'll never pay it. It doesn't come out of your pocket. The government pays for it. What Ogles is advocating for is that you pay full price for it, and then the government will send you money. It's the exact same thing. It's just that there's an extra step in Ogle's plan where they have to send you a check or a direct deposit, and then there's no oversight. It'll be hard to track whether or not that money actually went towards healthcare. You will have to do individual audits on every single person in order to figure out if they're spending that money on healthcare. This is stupidity. And the reason that they're coming out and saying this, and the reason that they're presenting this plan like it's not stupid, is because they know who they're talking to. They know that you guys, if they say Obamacare, you immediately go evil, bad, yes, I'm against it. You don't realize that they're talking about the exact same thing, but with a worse option and no oversight. This is nonsense. They don't have a plan.
Healthcare. Look, I'm a member of Congress.
Okay, well, if you don't want to subsidize people's bad habits, I guess by bad habits you mean having health insurance, then disagree with him because he's still talking about it.
I have private insurance, so I go out there. I've got an insurance agent because the Obamacare, it's unaffordable.
Your insurance agent sells you insurance from a health insurance company. This is nonsensical shit.
Affordable, and the policies that you do get suck. That's not what it was intended to be. And people like myself said from the beginning, this is never going to work. The math is untenable. It doesn't make sense. There's no way this is going to be successful. Then here we are all these years later, and guess what? Unfortunately, you and we were correct.
You weren't. I'm going to show you guys a chart that we've shown many times, but is this the one? Make sure it's the right one. Oops, I need health insurance. Health insurance premiums by year. Now, the claim he just made there is that Democrats did this. The chat has said this as well, that the Democrats created this. And the reason that you're saying that is because you've been told that. But have any of you checked to see? Have any of you ever checked to see where the healthcare premiums went? Let's look here. Go by year. Let's make sure this is the right one. Here we go. All right, this is kind of hard to see, but the premiums are right here in green. Is this any bigger? Like this. It worked. There we go. These premiums here are in green. That's the price of premium. Oh, I need to go back before 2008, actually. That is the wrong one. So that's only going to show the rise after Obamacare. Go back. Let's see this one. All right, the same source as before. Here's the premiums by year. All right. When was this massive increase? Which part of this chart where's the part where it goes up faster? This is from 99 to 2025. Can you show me on this chart where Obamacare made prices go up faster? Anybody? When was it? Obamacare was passed in 2009. Is that when? Do this. 10. It went into, I think it was, so then it probably went into place 2011. So let's look at 2011. The year before, prices had went up almost $2,000, premiums had gone up almost $2,000. The year before that, they had gone up about $1,300. The year before that, it had gone up about $1,200. The year before that, it had gone up about $1,000. Massive jump from 2001 to 2003. But Obamacare gets put in about here. First year of Obamacare, after prices had risen $1,100, the following year prices went up about $1,300, then $1,200, then $1,800, and then in 2019 we gutted Obamacare. And what happened after that? After we gutted Obamacare under Donald Trump, it went up about $1,800 there. Did I do that math right? About roughly. Then it went up about $1,800, and then it went up, skyrocketed in 2025. I don't know why we don't have 2024 in there. I'd imagine we'd probably cut that in half. Let's just assume it went up 1,800 again, so that would be 24, 25. Yeah. So where's this Obamacare breaking this system? Where's the break here from Obamacare that ruined this system? It looks like it's kind of just been going up forever. I'm looking for answers now from the Republicans. Can you guys explain it to me? How is it that right here is the problem? This line was going up before, going up after it, basically the same rate. Can you show me where this break happened? You were so adamant that it was fine, and then Democrats fucked up. By the way, I was a Republican at this time. I was working for Romney, so I was at the time opposed to Obamacare. I'm still actually against Obamacare. I don't think obviously it doesn't work. But our others, like, it doesn't work because it's part of private healthcare doesn't work. Has nothing, like, we need to do single payer. This obviously, like, private healthcare will never work. It's just going to keep getting more expensive. What year has it ever gone down? The price never goes down. Do you guys on average get an $1,800 raise, $1,800 annual raise? That's what you need to keep up with this. At your jobs, do most of you get $1,800 increase every year? Corn Pop, I'm going to help you with this. Good question. Corn Pop says, how is it private health care? Show you again here. When I go to browse plans and costs, this is healthcare.gov, so this is Obamacare. I think, and this is, Corn Pop, for a second, just be good faith for a second. Let's you and I be friends today. Let's be good faith for a second. I'm going to skip all the information. I'm going to go to full price plans here. My alternative is Medicare for all. And most of the country would accept Medicare for all. Corn Pop, when I go here and I'm on healthcare.gov, this is Obamacare. These are private health insurance plans. And the government subsidizes it. So they pay part of your premium. Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's private. Select Health, that's private. Regents, again, private. Select Health, private. Regents, private. Bridgespan, private. Imperial, private. Regents, private. Select. These are all private health insurance companies. This is the thing that maybe Republicans just need to have explained to them. Obamacare is private health insurance, and the reason that they have a marketplace is for collective bargaining. It's the same reason if you worked at a company that has 10 employees, it's hard for you to negotiate a lower price. But if you work at Google, they get better prices because they're buying in bulk. So what Obamacare essentially was like Costco for healthcare, the same way that Costco partners with other companies to give you cheaper prices because they buy in bulk. That's all Obamacare was. It's government subsidizing private health insurance. Are we clear on that? Do you guys think that Obamacare is government-run health insurance? No, there's not. Corn Pop, there's not one company for each region. I just showed you. How are you? Come on, man. Be good faith. Imperial, Bridgespan, Regents, Select. Regents, Select. There are multiple companies that I could choose from. It's not one per region. Stop saying stuff just to say it, dude. Just learn something new. It's not going to kill you to learn something new today. Yeah, when we started health insurance, that's when prices started going up. Once again, for those of you who said that Obamacare broke this, explain this fucking line to me. What Republicans do all the time is they take 2013, they say the price of health insurance has gone up whatever percentage they say since Obamacare, like 600% or something like that. Can't be 600%, like 60%. I think it's 60%. That's their claim, 67 or something. It always goes up. It went up before, it's going up after. That's why. This is why I was talking to my friends, and they don't buy this, and they were asking me a couple weeks ago, like, who do I think Democrats should run? And they were saying, they were throwing out names like Gavin Newsom and Shapiro and Andy Beshear. And they asked me who I thought could win. And I said, it's AOC. And they're like, that's crazy. Nobody will accept AOC. It's like, well, if you listen to AOC, You will. Like, AOC is the only person right now that has like any sort of a movement. Nobody on the right outside of Trump has any real support. JD Vance doesn't have, like, his support is going to fail. Like, look at his support compared to Trump's support. Like, Trump's approval rating in the GOP is like 90%. JD Vance is getting he's like 48% in polls with Republicans. Like, half the Republicans want him, but they're not excited about JD Vance. And AOC will speak to people that you guys are unaware of. AOC will speak to poor communities. They'll vote for her. There are communities like in West Virginia. You can go watch this. There's an awesome episode of More Perfect Union, and it's about this community that had voted Democrat for like 40 or 50 years or something like that, and then they flipped to Trump. And so More Perfect Union went in there and just like interviewed all these people, and they're like, "Why'd you switch to Trump?" And they're like, "Look, because the Democrats just kept telling us that they were going to help us, and then we just kept seeing our prices go up and up and up, and we saw jobs fleeing." Well, AOC is running on going against corporations. The reason that, like in West Virginia, that they flipped to Trump is because they felt like Trump was anti-corporation. They thought that Trump would go against the corporations and fight for what they wanted. And he was talking about clean coal and revitalizing West Virginia. And then none of it happened. They're worse off now than they were before. And so if you roll out Gavin Newsom to these same people, they're going to vote for the Republicans. If you roll out Josh Shapiro to those people, they're going to vote for the Republicans. But if you bring in AOC, they're going to vote for AOC. How do I know that? Because they voted overwhelmingly for Bernie. In those same primaries that where Hillary Clinton won the nomination, West Virginia voted massively for Bernie Sanders. Because to them, what they see what a lot of you guys say, and they say, like, the Democrats and Republicans, they're the same. There's not much difference between the two of them. Yeah, the Democrats like might message to us a little more kindly, but then like their track record is that they don't get shit done. So that's why they gave Trump a chance. But now we're going to have 12 years basically under Trump's policies and his tax policy, and things didn't get better for them. So yeah, you're not going to vote. They're not going to vote for Shapiro. They're not going to vote for Newsom. Newsom or Shapiro might beat JD Vance. I don't know. I wouldn't feel confident saying that they'll beat him, because what's their message going to be? We're anti-Trump. We don't like Trump. That's not going to work. But AOC's message isn't, I don't like Trump. AOC's message is, these corporations are hoarding all of the wealth. The reason that you guys don't have good paying jobs is because corporations ripped them out. The rich people took these jobs from your community and sent them overseas where they could get it done even cheaper. And we're going to punish people who rip jobs out of your communities. And we're going to help you with healthcare. These people, like especially coal miners, they have a lot of health problems due to the fact that they worked in coal mines for years. So these are people largely, like 70, 80% of their community is on Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. And so when you have one side of the aisle saying, we're going to cut those benefits, and the other side saying, we're going to give you universal health care, no deductible, no copay, those people are going to go for that. It literally is a choice for those types of people of life and death. That's why I'm not going to put a second into campaigning for a moderate Democrat. They've asked Fax and I, if Steve's here, Steve and I sat on a phone call where I didn't know what was really going on. And I joined a little bit late, and they were giving us like this PowerPoint of ways that we can help the Democrats. We have to help with the messaging, and the messaging needs to be affordability. And we sat there and watched, and like, here's how you can message. This is what we have to do. We have to have good slogans. We need to make sure that everything we talk about is in terms of affordability. And after like 40 minutes, I was like, I've fucking had enough. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to sit behind these people that are doing absolutely nothing and act and tell the whatever audience comes to see me. I'm not going to tell them that these people are going to do something great for them, because they're not. This is not an election for moderates, and these midterms are not an election for moderates. And when you guys go out and you vote in DNC primaries, and for those of you who vote for Republicans, when you go to these primaries, I would encourage you on the Republican side to think about something besides Donald Trump when you vote. And think about like what these people will actually advocate for that will make your life better. And for Democrats, it's the same thing. We don't need strongly worded letter Democrats. We don't need any of that. Yeah, why do we keep losing? Good question. We keep losing because we keep running Chuck Schumer. Is it buffering again? Jesus. We might not make it through the stream. I'm just going to push through. I don't know. At some point, we might end the stream today, but we'll see what happens. Or it's just going to be a Twitch stream for the rest of the day. We might just do that. Twitch is good? Good. All right, we're a small group today. I want to show this. This is a group called Hunterbrook Media. I want to give them some credit. I messaged them, and I'm going to see if I can get them on the show. They seem to have some sort of connection with Mark Cuban because they interviewed him. Relatively small channel. If I go to, in fact, let's go to YouTube. I'll pull this from YouTube instead of Twitter so they get the views. Just came across these guys the other day. Everybody do me a favor. Go subscribe to their channel. Say, let them know in the comments that we sent them. You can see it's a very small channel, but they seem to have some sort of connection. And they did this investigation. I'm going to have to find it. Is this the one? Yeah.
We may have found.
They did this investigation into CVS, United Health, and Cigna, and showed how, one, they're hiding profits, and two, how they're using those hidden profits to drive up pricing for your drugs. This is incredible reporting.
The biggest scam in healthcare, and the companies behind it are making.
Once again, Hunterbrook Media is the channel name there. Hunterbrook Media. Go find them on YouTube.
Tens of billions of dollars for doing next to nothing. Over the last year, our reporters have figured out that money meant to make your medicine cheaper has actually been flowing to what appear to be shell corporations, several of them outside of the United States. And these are fronts for some of the biggest healthcare companies in the world. If you've picked up a prescription in the United States, there is a greater than 90% chance that one of these companies was involved.
Oh, sorry, I forgot super chats. Let me make sure we get those. Proud Atheist says it's even dumber than that. HSA account, not cash. Good point. Yeah. Is that what Ogles is saying? He wants to send it to HSA accounts? I don't know if that's what he didn't say it there, I don't think, but if that's what he's saying, that's even dumber.
So this matters to you. You probably haven't heard of Ascent or Zinc or MSR, but you've definitely heard of their parent companies, United Healthcare, CVS, Cigna. Since on paper, these are some of the most profitable companies in the world, we decided to visit their headquarters. This is the singer Rafaela visiting the headquarters of Zinc Health Services. She happens to live nearby.
No answer.
Zinc claims to provide billions of dollars worth of services, but each time we visited their
real quick, Lindsay, remember that all the sources I use on the live are dropped in the Discord in the stories covered. So just go over to the left and you find the stories covered. Is that what it's called, Jen? I think that's what it is. Looking here. But
it's called live stories covered.
Live stories covered. So anything that we use on the live will be in the Discord. Find it there.
Headquarters. On this weekday and this one, it was empty. Across the world, tucked in the back of a shiny office.
Andrew, I saw your question 5 times, and maybe you're new here. One of the rules during this live is that you stay on subject. So I'm not going to stop and answer your questions that aren't about what we're talking about right now. When we get back to immigration, you can ask that question. But today, it's Friendly Friday, and we're giving our friends here a break from some of you. If you don't stay on subject, you get muted for 5 minutes at a time. So there's your warning. But we're talking about healthcare right now. You can bring that up when we talk about immigration later.
Building in Dublin, no one was at MSR either, according to the Pulitzer Prize winning reporter we sent to check out the place. Where is everyone? Meanwhile, in Schaffhausen, a tax shelter outside of Zurich known for corporate secrecy, there were actually about a half dozen employees working in the office. The company called the police on our reporter. Thankfully, the police actually had a lot of problems with the American healthcare system and let us go easily. But the point is, there's 3 supposed headquarters in 3 countries belonging to what are supposed to be some of the most revenue-generating companies in the world, and essentially nobody works there. And in case you're wondering whether they just work from home, we scraped LinkedIn, job boards, we found that about 150 people work at these companies. We estimate that these companies are making about $50 million per employee. That's more than Apple and Nvidia combined, times 10. And who's paying these companies? You! Through your health insurance. Okay, let me back up. These subsidiaries are called PBM GPOs. They're essentially the middlemen's middlemen. And Hunter Brook spent a year investigating these mysterious entities to answer the question, who are these people making massive profits off of your prescriptions? What we figured out is that these companies are capturing billions of dollars. People have died, and they will not answer any questions about it. CVS even sued to block a Freedom of Information Act request that we made. But we got the documents anyway. And what we realized over the course of this whole process is that the confusion is the point. These companies don't want you to understand what they're doing. They want you to shut off this video. They want you to think that it's boring. That's why you have to pay attention. It's why you have to watch. It's why we kept reporting the story.
You watch MAGA here. They're like, this is boring. This is boring. Somebody said Pulitzer. I don't trust Pulitzer. Just hear what they're saying. Correct anything. Anything they get wrong, chat, correct it.
Because the best scams are hard to understand. Otherwise, you'd already know about them. Okay, listen closely. Here's the deal. Who decides which drugs your insurance is going to cover?
All right, Andrew, you're getting muted, bud. You're still going on. Mute Andrew for 5 minutes. Andrew, you come back when you can stay on subject. Thanks.
It's not your employer or even your insurance company. It's a middleman, a PBM, a pharmacy benefit manager. And just 3 PBMs owned by the massive healthcare conglomerates control almost the entire market, which means that they have a lot of power to extract concessions from drug companies. But even if you've heard of PBMs, the scheme goes way deeper. Here's how it works. So most prescription drugs in the US are bought with insurance, and your health insurance plan will hire a PBM to figure out what drugs will be covered at what pharmacies and how much you'll pay. Think of PBMs as like a bouncer at the club. You've got to grease them if you want to get in. Except the club is called a formulary, which is the list of drugs your insurance covers, and PBMs aren't paid in cash. They're paid what are called rebates, basically discounts on drugs, in exchange for coverage. So instead of individual plans negotiating with manufacturers, PBMs leverage their size to get better deals. It's like, hey pharma, I handle prescriptions for millions of people. If you want my plans to cover your drugs, you're gonna need to pay up. So drug companies essentially try to convince PBMs to insure their drugs by offering rebates. The thing is, rebates, which are basically discounts, are supposed to be passed on to patients. It's supposed to make your drugs cheaper. But there's a problem. PBMs spent years skimming off the top, taking a cut of these rebates. Eventually, people caught on, they weren't happy, and the PBMs made a promise. They said they would pass on 100% of rebates, which is pretty good, right? But by the time United Healthcare made this promise.
That is why this morning we are committing to a full 100% pass-through of all rebates that we negotiate at the PBM back to the payer, the state, or the union.
The PBM.
Okay, so again, even going back to like the Costco example, like that's what PBM is supposed to do, right? They're big organizations. They can negotiate lower prices, and these they're hired by the health insurance companies to negotiate lower prices with the idea that those lower prices will be passed along to consumers. And they weren't doing that. That's what they were for. And it took a bunch of people hitting the streets and contacting their legislatures for these companies to then make the promise that 100% of that discount would go to the consumer. Because of that same idea of bulk buying. This is what Republicans advocate for all the time. And this is the problem with Republican ideology in general, is that when they advocate for the free market, they don't understand that the free market requires regulation. Think of it in the way, for Republicans that are here, think of it in terms of immigration. And I'm going to let you guys talk about immigration for a second. If you have really strong immigration laws, but you don't enforce the immigration laws, then it doesn't matter if you have strong immigration laws, right? Anything that you put forward has to be regulated to operate correctly. There's nothing that people won't try and take advantage of. Look at the fraud that happened in Minnesota. What was the point of the money that was being spent in Minnesota? It was going to help people who couldn't afford childcare, and healthcare. And so they sent all this money out, and they're like, we're going to help people who are poor. Well, pretty quickly, people figured out that there are loopholes, that there are gaps. There's not enough people that have oversight on this program. And so slowly but surely, people understood that they could scam the state of Minnesota. And this literally happens in all 50 states. But something that was intended to be good, something that was intended to help poor people, started being taken advantage of by people who wanted to keep that money for themselves. This happens no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what government program it is, this always happens. Think about our taxes. We have a tax policy. If you took the amount, I think it's something like just under $1 trillion every single year that we don't collect in taxes that are owed. Why don't we collect those taxes? We don't have enough IRS agents. We don't have enough oversight here. What was the Republicans' response to hiring more IRS agents? No, that's big government. That's too much regulation. Okay, well then I guess we're not going to get that $1 trillion that's just sitting out there. This idea that like the free market takes care of itself is absolute bullshit. The free market is meant to operate freely, but in order for it to operate freely, there has to be something or someone or some organization that regulates it. And we don't have that regulation here. So that's why it took the people standing up and demanding that the governments regulate this.
Had already reinvented themselves. The big three PBMs spun off new subsidiaries, those PBM GPOs, MSR, Zinc, and Ascent, aka the middlemen's middlemen. And basically what happens now is that the PBMs tell the plan that they're passing through 100% of the rebate, but the PBM doesn't call all the money it gets from drug makers rebates anymore. Instead, the PBM has pharma pay fees to the affiliated PBM GPO, which the PBM keeps. Again, these aren't rebates, they're called fees. So you, the patient, might get 100% of the rebate that the PBM is getting, but you don't get any of the fees, which is now how the PBMs are making money without you knowing it. Basically, the healthcare giants have moved the ball. They've changed how they get paid, and they've kept it a secret.
The biggest three PBMs are owned by the biggest three insurance companies. They decided that they needed to create these subsidiaries called rebate GPOs so that they could negotiate the rebates and then charge their parent company, the PBM. They'll charge them a fee for doing the negotiation, which in turn allows them to tell the employer, hey.
Guy Fawkes said, probably should have started with explaining to the rubes that Obamacare and the ACA are the same thing. You're right. Yeah, should have done that.
We're passing on all of the rebates that we get without communicating the fact that their subsidiary is retaining a bunch of money for doing the rebate negotiation. Even though you would think a multi-$100 billion company would be able to do that without creating a subsidiary.
As insured, PBMs might now pass through 100% of the rebate they receive to patients, but they're now collecting new kickbacks through these new subsidiaries. And manufacturers are paying all kinds of fees to these PBM GPOs. Data fees, portal fees, administrative fees. Those fees now essentially get baked into what you pay for prescriptions. And while PBMs claim that these middlemen provide billions of dollars in services to drug makers every year, and that's why they're being paid, remember, as far as we can tell, they barely do anything.
And again, the reason that we did this was the solution. This is the free market solution. Don't worry. We'll have these PBMs that are separately held, and they will act in the free market, and they'll make sure that this money gets passed along, and they'll make sure that things are affordable. So what happens? The insurance companies just buy all the PBMs, and then they just turn it into even more of a scam. They always find a way to keep more of the money.
How much money these companies make per employee? We're left asking this question. Do we really think?
Point. Somebody said, look how many stadiums are owned by insurance companies. I don't know how many, but I live in Arizona. State Farm. It's an insurance company. It's not health insurance. I don't know. Are there any that are sponsored by health insurance companies? Drop them.
I think these are the most productive companies in human history. More productive than Nvidia and Apple combined times 10. Or do we think that these companies and the data services that they provide are a shell, a fiction, a corporate invention? We actually spoke to some of the people who helped start these companies and a bunch of people who worked there. And here's what they told us. A former Zinc executive said, quote, "There was nothing to sell you. It was just access to the formularies." Which means they're essentially saying that the middlemen weren't actually being paid billions for their data services. They were being paid by pharma companies just to have their drugs covered. A similar sentiment was expressed by Kent Rogers, a former executive of United Health's PBM Optum
Yeah,
RX.
sponsored is a better way to say that. Thank you. Good point, Not Dog. Sponsored, not owned. That's a good point.
who co-founded MSR in Ireland. He told us, quote, "The intention of the GPO is to create a fee structure that can be retained and not passed on to a client." He said that in a quote. Rogers, and one of the co-founders of Ascent, Cigna's PBM GPO in Switzerland, also said a big part of the reason why these companies are based outside the United States is for tax reasons. And it wasn't just the executives who saw this way. Lower level employees had the same view. As one of them told us, quote, "They move money here and there. It looks like washing money, shifting money. It's nothing else." The scale is hard to comprehend. These are billions of dollars every year. Money that should be making your drugs cheaper and instead is being sent to essentially empty offices around the world.
Nobody here.
So that's the scheme, and it isn't just money moving hands. It's costing people's lives. 22-year-old Cole Schmidnick used a preventative inhaler for his asthma. He'd had the same inhaler for more than a decade. On January 10th, 2024, he walked into a Wisconsin Walgreens, and he expected to pay what he normally paid, $67. What Cole didn't know is that United Health's PBM OptumRx had changed his plan's formulary. The inhaler he used wasn't covered anymore. The pharmacy said he'd need to pay $500 of his own money to buy the inhaler. So Cole left Walgreens that day empty-handed. And 11 days later, he died of an asthma attack. Cole's parents blame OptumRx and Walgreens. They want justice for the senseless loss of their son, and they want PBM reform.
Am I happy that I'm using my son's story the way I'm using it? Hell no. And me and my wife both wholeheartedly agree that this just cannot happen again to somebody else. Cole was freaking 22 years old, and breathing is an option. They made it an option for Cole, and he had to choose one that, took him where he's at.
You can read our full investigation for free at hunterbrook.com/PBMGPO and spread the word. They can't keep taking our money and our lives.
There's Hunter Brook Media. Check them out on YouTube. Again, there's their channel. Hunter Brook, at Hunter Brook on YouTube. Awesome reporting, and they deserve a hell of a lot more views than they're getting. So we'll keep track of them. We'll try and use their reporting from time to time. All right, let's. I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. Let's get to ICE. And now, Republicans, you can get excited. We can talk about ICE now. I want to start with this clip. I think it was yes. Oh, what's up, Jen?
Thank you. Have you checked PayPal and your Cash Apps recently?
Yeah, I've been checking them. I was about to read them. Let me pull this up real quick. This is from a hearing, I believe that was yesterday. It could have been the day before. And this is Jamie Raskin talking about the amount of sketchy people that are working with ICE. Christina wanted to add on that last video. Said, I know you're not there yet, but even the extension of the ACA subsidies passes both chambers of Congress. Trump said he will not sign it. That's true, which is crazy. We wouldn't just sign subsidies. And the thing that sucks about Trump is he's so thin-skinned that his opposition to the ACA subsidies seems to be Obama. We're living through a lot of really shitty legislation because Trump got made fun of by Obama at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And Trump has never let that go. Obama landed a good joke on him, and Trump has just never let that go. Even yesterday in an interview, Trump was complaining about Obama, saying he was the worst president of all time and he was so divisive, which is, if you want to say Obama's divisive, that's fine. But Trump calling somebody divisive, that's crazy. He's literally dividing people at the time, calling us terrorists, and then it's Obama's very divisive. Yeah, there's nothing that any of you say anymore that any of us can really take seriously. If you want to talk about escalation, you want to talk about you guys caused this because you called the ICE the Gestapo. Okay. So did you guys cause it when you called us terrorists? So if somebody commits an act of violence on the left, do we get to say it's because you call us terrorists? Every time somebody on your side of the aisle does something wrong, you blame the words that we said for their actions. Every single time. But I also want to, something that Jamie Raskin's going to bring up here. Why do we have masked agents? Why are members of law enforcement masked with no name tag? Why don't they have body cam? Why when they're supposed to have body cams on, do they not have body cams on? That video I showed you yesterday of the ICE agents in the Uber parking lot, they were using not body cams, they're using GoPros. Well, the problem with the GoPros is that it doesn't connect to a server, it's an SD card, which you can edit, which you can change. So they're not even following the law when it comes to body cams. They're hiding all of this. Why do they need to be masked? Why aren't all of our police masked? If you're going to say it's because people threaten them, well, then how come all of our police aren't masked? Right? Why are great, Corn Pop. Why are people targeting ICE? Because they keep committing crimes and getting away with it. And that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about the criminal enterprise that is ICE.
And I intervene here only because I want to respond to my friend from North Carolina, who I think starts with the incontrovertible point that it's wrong to prejudge whether this was murder.
Actually, ICE is now required to use body cams. I'm fairly certain we signed legislation. I'll double check that. I'm pretty sure they have to have them now.
Equally wrong to prejudge that it's self-defense. And I hope that that my colleague, with his astute prosecutorial understanding, would just as much reprove the Attorney General and the President.
Yeah, ICE Directive 19010.3. It's updated as of this year, but they do have to wear body cam now. So I'll take that apology from whoever said they don't have to.
For going out and claiming this was self-defense without a complete investigation, especially when all the evidence of our senses would suggest, if we're going to jump to a conclusion, we should jump to a conclusion that this was murder and not self-defense. But that's why we have the law. That's why we have a legal process. Now, the gentleman correctly states the situation, except he aborts the analysis midway. He says, well, she was told to stop, she was told not to go anywhere, but still, she drove her car away. And I certainly saw that. The Supreme Court has a decision just on this point, which I'm sure the gentleman knows. It was decided in 1985. Everybody in criminal procedure learns it. Tennessee versus Garner, 1985, because Tennessee had a statute which said if there is someone fleeing the police, they can be shot. And the Supreme Court said that's not the rule. They can only be shot if they're fleeing the police if the police have probable cause to believe that the suspect poses a significant threat of death or danger to other people. Now,
I'm gonna engage with this just for this sake. For anybody that's here that's MAGA, I do want you to know that I personally am not willing to engage in this discussion until you can explain to me where ICE gets the authority to stop somebody on the street, an American citizen on the roadway. So my contention is that ICE attacked this woman and she tried to escape. And in order for us to move past that point, I'm going to need to see from one of you how where the authority from that ICE agent came. And I'm going to need a statute. I don't care about your opinion. I need you to cite the law that says that ICE agent had the authority to go up, demand that she leave her car, and try and open her door and pull her from that car. Until you can prove to me that they had authority to do that, those ICE agents are just civilians. They're no different than you or I. We can't even get past that point of the video. We tried yesterday. It took about an hour. And finally, we just had to move on. And I will continue to do this until anybody can show me where they got that authorization. So for those of you in the chat today, before we're willing to move on to the rest of the video, which we maybe will never get to, like it might take forever. We might not ever get to it. But until somebody can explain to me where ICE gets that authority to attempt to detain an American citizen, we're not going to move on from that video. We have to stay right there.
Ms. Good, who's a 37-year-old mom of a 6-year-old boy.
I can be serious, Old Blue, and we're going to do this like we did yesterday. Your whiny, come on, bro. That's not compelling to me. And if you think that they have that right, it should be very simple for you to cite a statute. You can just Google it, right? You'll be able to find where the law permits ICE to detain and attempt to remove a citizen from their car. That should be easy for you if you're right.
Now orphaned by ICE, posed no threat to anybody. At least as far as we can tell, there's no suggestion that she posed a reasonable threat to anybody. That's
18 USC 111 does not cover that. Let's try again. I can pull it up here in a minute. I'll have it up for you.
Legal question. Now, I think our committee should launch an investigation into this. This would be a worthwhile subject for us to get into at this point. But the idea that simply because she disobeyed an order that she can be shot in the face at point blank is wrong. That's not the law in the United States of America. And you know who knows that? Everybody on this side of the aisle who talks about Ashley Babbitt. Because everybody talking about Ashley Babbitt seems to think that, well, she was told repeatedly to turn around and to leave, and then she still tried to use violence to get into our chamber, into the speaker's lobby in order to get at us. And she was shot and repelled. And there were 2 different investigations which found that that was reasonable force used by the police.
And yet, on the same day that this woman was shot, Donald Trump and his administration on their website were saying that the force on Ashley Babbitt was illegal, that she was given no warning. That's what they say. Now, again, it's been investigated, and we know that Capitol Police obviously have a legal right, a legal duty, and as part of their role in an official capacity, they have the job of protecting Congress. So multiple warnings with a gun drawn in their official capacity, yep, it was justified. But this administration somehow is claiming that that one was not justified or lawful, but this one was. That's why we have a problem here. And that's something that none of you have been able to explain to us either. How was Ashley Babbitt's justified, but this one wasn't? I would argue that Ashley Babbitt's was justified because it happened with a law enforcement officer during their official capacity within the scope of what they're allowed to do. And again, I'm going to need a statute for somebody to show me the official capacity of an ICE agent to try and remove an American citizen from their car.
Because she was coming at them. But what we had in this case was this woman was trying to leave. She was trying to get away from it. She wasn't coming at the police. She was trying to get away from the police. So to the extent that we want to engage in an immediate post-mortem analysis, and I agree with the gentleman that this is why we have law.
I'll do this real quick. This is the only time we're going to do 18 USC 11, but 18 USC 11 is about assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, or interfering with federal officers or employees while they are performing official duties. So you have to show me the official duties that ICE was doing at that time that she was impeding with. What was she impeding? She was parked in the middle of the road. They were driving down the road. That's not, and they could have went around her. So until you can show me what she was impeding as their official duties, driving down the street is not an official duty for them. They can't, it doesn't matter. They're not allowed to go in and arrest somebody for blocking one lane of the road, which, by the way, she couldn't have stayed in her lane and went anywhere else because there was an ICE car parked in front of her. So you're going to have to explain how that was the official duties. I know you can say she was wrong, period, and that's the problem. You guys can't cite a statute.
This is why we have a real legal investigation, and it is completely irresponsible for the president and the attorney general to be out there claiming against all evidence that this was self-defense. This is why we have law. Okay, then we should wait until we can make a final.
So somebody keeps citing 287G. This is a new one that you guys have, but let's look at it real quick. This is the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996. It was added to 287 to the Immigration and Nationality Act that authorizes ICE to delegate state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform immigration officer functions, not the other way around. In order for them to do this traffic stop, this would have to be state and local law enforcement delegating to ICE, but it's not. This is ICE delegating some of their authority to local law enforcement. So let's try again. That's 0 for 2 for you guys.
Pronouncement upon that, but let's at least get down what the law is. This is the House Judiciary Committee, and people cannot be shot in the face simply because they walk away from a police officer, and especially when we've got police officers who are masked. And I just want to finish on this point, and I'm happy to yield to my friend, because look, all of us represent jurisdictions. We've got local police, we've got county police, we've got state police. None of them are masked. We've got the Army, we've got the Navy, we've got the Marines. None of them are masked.
Thank you, Emma. Under authority, under ICE oversight, these officers can identify, question, and detain individuals suspected of being removable. Yes, she's not removable. She's an American citizen. Being removable means removable as a resident, removable from the country. So nope, no authority there.
At the National Guard, none of them are masked. Why is ICE masked? This is what we want to know. Nobody's given us a good answer for this. Now, one suggestion comes from the fact that we have multiple January 6th.
Thank you, PW. ICE can stop a vehicle under these circumstances. Reasonable suspicion of an immigration violation. And then you said, i.e. impeding ICE. Impeding ICE is not an immigration violation. Now you added something. Do you see how you had to do that, PW? See how you had to add something? No. There's no impeding a roadway. Impeding a lane of traffic has nothing to do with immigration. They have, again, cite a statute, please.
Defendants who are working at the Department of Justice itself, including Ed Martin and Jared Wise. So if they're hiring them at the Department of Justice, presumably they're hiring them at the Homeland Security and ICE, and maybe they don't want them to be identified because, of course, those people were very well video documented on the day of January 6th.
Try again here. We've already done this one a million times. Guys, this is going to get annoying for my audience that we're doing this every day, but I'm going to do this until somebody gives us an actual instance. This is somebody said 8 U.S. Code 1226. This is on a warrant issued by the Attorney General. An alien may be arrested and detained pending a decision on whether the alien is to be removed from the United States. So this is about, this is a citizen, so this doesn't apply. Try again. Nome claims they were just trying to get their car from the snow. Unless they're tow truck drivers, that's not an official law enforcement duty. And it also didn't happen. But thank you, Luna, for the super chat. And a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. Anything you can do to help us knock out that daily gift goal would be greatly appreciated. That's how we pay our bills here. So if we could knock that out I do have a hard stop today as I've got a sick daughter. There we go.
There's a lot of suspicion that that's why these people are being masked, and they're not even telling us why they're being masked. But it's precisely this episode which demonstrates why people are afraid of ICE and will try to move away from ICE rather than submit to their order, even when people need to submit to a lawful order of the police. Happy to yield to the gentleman.
Well, and just in terms of the masks, I think it goes without saying that there is an element of undue danger when you deal with international criminals. But in regards,
this is my favorite part. International criminals? You mean just people who committed a misdemeanor? We know the data shows that dealing, if you are an ICE agent, you are less likely to be assaulted than a regular police officer. Immigrants are less likely to commit violent crime than U.S. citizens. I don't like, this is just like, it's just internal like fear of it's xenophobia. He said international there, like that's supposed to make it scarier. That's just xenophobia sneaking out here by Brad Knott. Statistically, you're not more likely to be harmed by these people. We already did 18 USC 111. That applies to federal officers, and it applies to federal officers in their official capacity. And because ICE is not acting in their official capacity by trying to clear one lane of traffic, because they have no authority to clear a lane of traffic when they can go around, USC 111 does not apply.
to the facts of this case, is it not relevant the angle from the officer's perspective? The only angles I've seen have been from hindsight, where the officer was who pulled the trigger, and I'll stipulate it was a tragedy.
It only applies to ICE if they're in their official capacity, which they were not doing there. So in order for me to be wrong here, you've got to now show me a statute that says ICE is allowed to do traffic stops for obstructing one lane of a two-lane road. There's no authority here. Nobody's. I'm not even defending this lady, Steve. I'm asking you to show me where ICE has the authority, because I don't have the authority to stop that lady. I can't go try and rip her from her car. Why don't I have that authority? Well, because it's never been granted to me. Who does have that authority? Anybody that's been granted the authority to stop a U.S. citizen, detain them, and try and remove them from their car. ICE has not been granted that authority unless ICE is currently working on an operation to remove somebody, which they're not. They're driving down the road. If you want to say that ICE has this authority, then ICE would always have this authority no matter what. If you now want to extend this to if ICE is driving down the road, they can do any law enforcement activity, well, then they could also pull somebody over for speeding. They could pull somebody over for running a stop sign. They could pull somebody over for improperly parking. So that's the problem. They have to have this authority. And this is the point. Like, all of you guys want to debate on the right past this point. None of you want to get, but we can't have this debate until we decide what authority ICE has. So, and in order for anybody to know what authority any law enforcement agent has, we go to the law. I could show you the authority that's been granted to the sheriff's department or local police there to detain that woman. Local police, if that had been a local police officer who came and tried to detain her, they have that authority. ICE doesn't. Therefore, ICE are just generic citizens, and therefore they don't have that right. So they don't have any right or any right to self-defense there. If you position yourself in front of a car while standing in the middle of the road holding a cell phone, and that person gets scared and tries to flee the person breaking into her car, you that was standing in front of the car, you're just a citizen. You were breaking the law by standing in the middle of the road filming, and the person who was trying to break into the car is an attempted kidnapper. That's assault. So you're going to have to show me where they got that authority. Sats Verinciple said, it's time to do unto others as they do unto you. Axe said, hope your daughter feels better. Thanks for everything you and Jen do. Have a happy and safe weekend. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Is it relevant to see what he saw? He couldn't see that the wheels were turning, if they were. He couldn't see what where the trajectory was. He was right in front of the car that accelerated his direction.
No, it's not relevant because he has no authority to stand in the street and pull a gun on somebody because he's just a citizen at that point.
Is that not a relevant consideration to the ranking member?
No.
Well, of course it's a relevant consideration. Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to a legal question, all of that is completely relevant. But what the administration is saying cuts completely against...
But in a court of law, that's not going to be relevant because they have to have the right to do that. All right, thank you. 18 USC 1503. Let's pull this up. I hope one of these days, by the way, 18 USC 1503. One of these days, one of you guys, it's been 2 days so far, no statute. So I think this one might be a new one. Let's do this one. 18 USC, influencing or injuring an officer or juror generally. Whoever corruptly or by threats of force or by any threatening letter or communication endeavors to influence, intimidate, or impede any grand or petite. This is about jurors. Okay, so this doesn't apply. This is about people, members of a jury. Good try there. Isn't this crazy? And I'm telling you, for you that are on the right, that are going in and having these debates, don't fucking engage until they can tell you where they get this authority. Because if you're going to debate whether or not the ICE agent was standing in front of the car, or if they got hit, or if they didn't get hit, it doesn't fucking matter until that person has authority. Otherwise, it's just a guy standing in the road videotaping somebody about to be kidnapped who then shoots that person once from in front of the car and then twice through the window after the threat was gone. You don't even need to get to that point. Just tell us where they got the authority to stop somebody. All right. Keep going here. Somebody brought this guy up the other day, and I swear to God, I'd never seen this guy, which is crazy because apparently he's huge. I had never seen this guy until somebody brought him up the other day. And now I'm seeing him all over, and I think we've identified the problem on the right. This is Asmongold. I don't know what his story is. this is every take I've seen from right wingers. And this goes to show that the difference between, I think, the two sides largely is that people on the right think that their feelings and and what they think the law should be is what the law should be. And Asmongold's another one of those people who's like, my feelings are more important than the law. I'm not going to cite a law. Obstruction of agency proceedings. Let's see. 18 USC 1505. Have you, I appreciate you giving me a lot of these. It looks like we've pulled this one up before. Are you acknowledging at any point that you are swinging and missing? Obstruction of proceedings before departments, agencies, and committees. Whoever with intent to avoid, evade, prevent, or obstruct compliance in whole or in part with any civil investigation. Okay, that's why. This is about civil investigations. This is Antitrust Civil Process Act. So you're wrong again. Like, you got to know what you're reading. This isn't a civil investigation. So wrong again. But here's Asmongold just telling us about his feelings and not citing a source.
I can't with these people trying to call this a murder and all that shit. Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never...
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't be in front of a car. I agree with that part.
Never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely.
How? How are you going to do that, Asmongold? With your logic?
You never go, like, after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win.
That's just fascism. Like, what he's talking about right now is saying that when you are in control, when you're the government, if anybody opposes what you do, the only option you have is to keep killing them until they submit. This is what the right is. This is the right-wing ecosystem. They are now just openly saying, yeah, we're just government bootlickers. We're just fascists. We're just going to have to kill people.
These people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe and some other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law? Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face.
Yeah. Come on, government. Shoot the citizens.
They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out. And she's walking around, driving around.
Walking around, driving. This is some high-level shit by Asmongold. Somebody said he has 70,000 viewers all the time when he's live. That's crazy. How the fuck are 70,000 people listening to this guy cite absolutely nothing but his feelings? And then a bunch of MAGA are like, those are my feelings too. We agree. Look, the views that you get does not necessarily mean that you're great. I would say Midas Touch gets more views than anybody on the left. I don't think they're anywhere near the smartest or most well-informed people on the left. And they're massive. People get views, and especially if you're like, I'm assuming he's like streams for 8-10 hours a day, probably. But this is just my feelings. These are all of my feelings.
What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot him right in the fucking head.
Yeah.
That's it. Aim for the legs. Yeah, bro. Aim for the legs. Oh my God. Some of these people not thinking about this at all, bro. In a vehicle, from what I saw. I mean, barely, maybe. He barely got away.
This is a wild screenshot for him to be at. You can see both of the shooter's legs at this point. He's arguing that he's being run over while you can see both of the shooter's legs right there. And you can see the shot being fired right then. This is a wild time to pause that screen. Even the argument that he's trying to make here, that this person's life was in danger. You know what you should have done? If you have a cell phone out and you're videotaping and you see a car in front of you, perhaps rather than taking the time to put your cell phone away, reach for a firearm, perhaps you just move out of the way. We've already done 18 USC 111. We've already covered that. It does it. Emlet, I see you posting that. You've already posted this one before. I've already debunked this one. In order for 18 USC 111 to apply, ICE would have to be acting in their official capacity. In this case, because this is a U.S. citizen, and this is not immigration related, they're acting not in their official capacity, so it doesn't apply. Otherwise, that would just mean that ICE at any point, whenever they want to, could go and try and rip somebody from their car. Of course they can't do that. All of these laws apply within your official capacity. So in order for 18 USC 111 to apply here, you have to then explain how this action was part of their official capacity, and that's where you guys keep getting stuck.
And yeah, he pulled the gun on her and he shot her. Yeah, the thing is, like, how is it even that close? Like, even if you think that, like, that's what happened, what are you talking about? They told her to get out of the car. She almost ran.
That's a not lawful order. It doesn't matter what they told her. That's not a lawful order by ICE. And she knows that because she's been educated. She's part of a group that tells you what your rights are when it comes to ICE. And if you are an American citizen, they have no right to detain or remove you unless you are impeding in an active ICE activity, which was not the case. They were driving down the road, and the previous ICE car had already driven past them, so we know she wasn't impeding, and she waved them on twice. They're going to lose this. By the way, if they're going to lose, this man is going to be investigated and charged in Minnesota with murder. He's going to lose, and all of these same people here are just going to then say, it's a biased justice system. You've already decided that. But by every letter of the law in Minnesota, even if they were acting in their official capacity, you have to retreat. Even under ICE's own rules, you are not allowed to use a gun to stop a car. If there's any, and they'll do the investigation, if there was any reasonable exit for him where he could have got out of the way, then he's breaking their own rules. And of course, because he put himself in front of the car with a phone, not with a gun, remember. At first it was with the phone. He was just sitting there recording. There's no way he's winning this case. But Republicans will do what they always do, close their eyes and say anytime a Republican or Republican-adjacent person gets convicted of something, it was because of a weaponized justice system. But there's less and less of you. I want to point out again that I reached out to MAGA friends yesterday, and 10 out of 10 said this was wrong. So, but those aren't like the losers that sit here and argue with us every day. Those are just like regular people.
Hand him over. Are you going to expect somebody to make...
She doesn't have to show her ID. They have no right to ask for her ID, Ryan. Do you think that ICE in this country can stop you and demand your ID? 2 hours later, Greg Bovino, who is leading this charge in Minnesota, stopped a man and they demanded his ID. And he said, I don't have to show it to you. And Greg Bovino admitted it and walked away. So no, she doesn't have to show her ID. She's an American citizen. And she's also white, so they can't even say like that because she's speaking Spanish or she looks Hispanic that there was reasonable suspicion. None of them have claimed that they thought she was an immigrant. But if an ICE agent stops you and says, "Show me your ID," you have no obligation to show your ID.
A decision like that in 1/10 of a second, whenever somebody's like actively basically trying to run them over. If somebody did this to an average person and they shot him, I'd say rip bozo. The fact is, this is just what happens. They told her to get out of the car. Did she get out of the car? No, she didn't. She did something.
Big feelings by this dipshit. This is a problem. If he has 70K viewers, that means there's like 70,000 people that tune into this dipshit for him to just talk about his feelings. These are my feelings right now. I'm not going to cite any law whatsoever. I'm just going to tell you that rip, sorry, people could just die. Feelings, a lot of feelings from you guys in the chat today. Once again, chat, on the right, I need you guys, before we can move on, you have to tell me where they had the authority to stop this person.
I looked at it, it seemed like to me that, yeah, it's somebody trying to run over a police officer, number one. And number two, she disobeyed a direct order. And who knows what somebody like that is going to do. And this is a big issue.
Hassan took the same position. Well, it sounds like Hassan was right, too. I mean, Hassan's significantly smarter than this dipshit.
that a lot of people don't understand is that they don't understand the butterfly effect of allowing a person who is a criminal like that to just escape away in a speeding vehicle.
Criminal? She was a criminal? What law did she break there? The ICE vehicle was blocking her. She couldn't go down her lane. There was an ICE vehicle in front of her. She couldn't go anywhere. Where's she going to go? She going to drive through that ICE vehicle?
After immediate,
how did Hassan get proven wrong? Give me the law that says that they can do this.
Immediately trying to run over a police officer, you don't know if that person's going to run.
Redwood Dragon. I said maybe I should stop giving. He has more airtime than me, right? Like this isn't about me amplifying his message. This is about me giving counter evidence. I promise, like showing Asmongold on this, we're 1/100th the size of his channel. Like we're responding to a dipshit that a lot of people watch.
Somebody else over, if they're going to lose control of the car, if they're going to go and do this somewhere else, etc. Right?
Wow, man, where was that poll? 86% of people say it was murder. I'm telling you, I was shocked that my MAGA friends said it was murder. Most of them aren't like MAGA, but they Republican. Is anybody giving me anybody give me a law yet that we could cite? God damn, I really want to get to the second part of that video. The other thing I want to point out is that on the day that this happened, everybody on the right was using this video, literally the worst possible video. You can't see anything. And let me just say this. I don't know if the ICE agent was hit or not hit. And if you say that the ICE agent was hit, you're lying. You don't know. We're all guessing if he was or wasn't hit. He did move. He did put himself on the hood of the car, his arm, but none of us actually know if he was or wasn't hit. It's still irrelevant. But why did they all use this? At the time they were all posting this video, there were like 8 other videos that were much closer that showed in greater detail what was happening here. And yet Tim Pool and all these losers put up this video and they would say things like, this is definitive proof. Like what did Tim Pool say here? Video shows moment woman makes contact swiping officer before he opens fire. Does it? Looks like his arm, like right there, his leg is off to the side. His arm is on top of the car. It looks like he could get out of the way. Why'd they all use such a shitty video at this time? What's up, Jen?
Check our DMs. I guess a new video is out from the POV of, I don't know if it's the guy who did the shooting. But when I listen to it, it doesn't sound like the, I don't hear any gunshots in it. So that's a question for me. But.
Okay. So this is the ICE car, like that's blocking traffic. This is the person who did the shooting. As you can see, oh, there's a dog in the car too? I didn't know. Is the ICE agent now at this point the one that's blocking traffic? Oh, yeah.
That's okay. We don't change our
So he got out and blocked traffic, walked around, videotaped her license plate.
plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
That's his car in the lane of it, blocking the lane, right? So if she's blocking traffic, then isn't he blocking traffic?
You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the
car.
Whoa! What investigation were they doing? What was the investigation that they were doing here? Where's this ICE investigation that they were doing at the time? Why are they all in their cars? What is he investigating right here? 2 American citizens? She's not allowed to do? Once again, where'd they get that authority to do any of that? Roman, where does he get the authority to do that? Out of curiosity. Again, my argument is not that he got hit or didn't get hit. I don't care if he got hit. It doesn't matter at all. He had no authority. He's breaking the law standing in the road unless he was doing that in an official capacity. Do the police have the ability? Can they even run your license plate? Is ICE allowed to run your license plate of an American citizen? No. Cite the statute. They ran an operation down the street a couple doors and they had already finished and were leaving the area. Yeah, they were done. You saw the other ICE cars go right around her. Cite the statute, please. Tell me why they had the authority to do that. Yeah, he seemed safe when thank you. Seemed safe when he was on the side. Lugo, they don't know if the car is from a citizen unless it's checked. No, they're not allowed to do that to citizens. That's the point. We don't live in a police state. Did you know that if you're driving down the street, like the police are not allowed to run your tags without suspicion of something? Now they get away with it all the time, but does ICE have the authority to do traffic stops? Guys, again, I want to engage in the rest of it. I want to talk to you about whether the use of force was justified, but I can't even have that discussion with you until you tell me why these people are actually law enforcement at that point. At that point, I don't think they're law enforcement. I think they're just people who are pissed off and they're citizens trying to assault somebody and then standing in the middle of the road, which is the same law that you claim she's violating. His car, that ICE agent, is doing the exact same thing that you're accusing her of, impeding traffic, and now he's impeding in the other lane too. So his car's blocking one lane of traffic, and then he himself, standing in the road with a cell phone, is blocking the other lane of traffic. She was detained. Where did the officer get the authority to detain her, Puff? You have to cite a statute. No, Patrick, I didn't show you it was justified. Because if that was me, if I did that, if I was videotaping her in the middle of traffic and somebody else was trying to open her door and she drove towards me, I'm not justified to shoot her because I was the one that put myself in harm's way. And I had no legal authority to do so. Correct. No answer will satisfy me except for one that shows a statute. But any answer will satisfy you guys. Any. You think can ICE run your license plate at any time? What's the legal statute that gives ICE the ability to run your license plate at any time? You guys have that? And by the way, he's not even running her plate. He's just recording her plate. Obstructing traffic is probable cause of what? Michelle, impeding traffic is not something that ICE can investigate. So probable cause of what? Again, if that was Minnesota, Minneapolis PD, they could do that. If those were different law enforcement agents, if that was Minnesota PD, you'd probably be right. This would probably be a crime by her. In fact, it certainly would be a crime by her. But they're not. So they're just like you or I. You might be right about that if they can run your plate at any time. I could have been wrong about that actually, Cindy. Now that I think about it, I think it's that they can't ask your ID without probable cause. I do think you're right about that. I do think that they can use like the plate readers at any time because I think they can do that if somebody has a warrant. I don't think they need probable cause. I think I was wrong about that. But that's not what he did anyways. He just recorded it, so it doesn't matter. Still, no authority to stop her. I'm going to need a statute. I can't keep arguing this in the chat with you guys. Title 1-6.200. Let's pull it up. Thank you for citing statutes. Title 1-6.200. What is this? Cite that one again. Title 1-6.200. This isn't pulling up anything. It's a federally funded program under elementary and secondary education. I don't know what you're citing there. Sorry.
There's one it's Title 1-16.200.
It's U.S. Attorney's Manual Procedure where the United States is not a party. This is the Department of Justice Manual. Is this what you're talking about? You're talking about the DOJ Manual? It's not really a statute. This is from a manual, but let's see what it is. Oh, we did this one yesterday. .200. Requests for authorization pursuant to regulations are initiated when an employee of the department informs the United States Attorney for... Okay. Nobody informed the United States Attorney. Try again. USC 1357. Awesome. USC... I love this game. This is my favorite thing. I'm sorry if you guys hate this to my audience, but I have to be an asshole here until these folks can explain. 1357. Grants immigration officers broad authority to interrogate, arrest, search, and seize individuals suspected of violating immigration laws. What immigration law is she suspected of violating here? It's not an immigration law, though, Anthony. Once again, blocking the road is illegal, but you and I, Anthony, are not allowed to go and try and take somebody out of their car for blocking the road. Why? Because we haven't been granted that authority to do so, right? So these people need the authority to do so. I just need you to show me where they're granted that authority. So here's the law here. Any officer or employee of the service authorized under regulations prescribed by the Attorney General shall have the power without warrant to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien as to his right to... Okay. Did they believe that she was an alien? Can you help me with that? Title 1-16. We just did that one. We just did Title 1. That's right here. Anywhere else? We already did 1357. ICE does not have the authority to investigate or enforce local or state laws. Thank you. We did 18 USC 11. We already did that one. Maverick, you were here for that one. God, are you guys all... Maverick, aren't you one of those people that's like runs around with mod? Stop listening to fake lawyers. If you're not that same Maverick, I apologize, but like, don't listen to people who pretend to be lawyers. Oh, this is, 111. Assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees. Forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with any person designated, which they are designated there. Forcibly assaults or intimidates any person who formerly served as a person designated, yada, 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 shall, where the acts in violation of this section constitute only simple assault, be fined. Yeah, so what is this? Does this mean that, because this certainly doesn't mean that you can't ever assault a police officer, right? Because if a police officer, for example, is off duty and they try and fight you, you can assault a police officer, right? You can fight back if they're off duty. I didn't find one here. Look, this is just whoever forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with any person while engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties. You have to show me the official duties of ICE that would include a traffic stop. What's the official duty that they were doing that allows them to do a traffic stop? Yes, an off-duty cop can legally detain you, but they can't do it illegally, right? An ICE agent has the same ability to detain a U.S. citizen as I do. Title 1-16. Okay, let's do that. Title 1-16.200. Great. This is their manual, by the way. I just want to be clear once again, this is not the law. This is their manual, but this is use of deadly force. Law enforcement and correctional officers of the Department of Justice may use deadly force only when necessary. That is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger or death of serious physical injury to the other officer or to another person. Now, this is Department of Justice, right? So this, again, in your official capacity, deadly force may not be solely used. This is tough for you. May not be solely used to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect. Whoops. Firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Whoops. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless, one, a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. Was she threatening with something other than the vehicle? Or was it just the vehicle? And again, this doesn't even apply because they're not in their official capacity. But even if they were in their official capacity, this sounds an awful lot like you'd be guilty here too. Stop trying to argue semantics. Stop reading it. This is it. This proves it. Stop fucking reading it. Stop taking the words on the screen and reading them. This proves it. Don't fucking read it. That's MAGA right now. 2. The vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appear to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. Firearms may not be discharged from a moving vehicle except in that doesn't matter because they're not in the vehicle. Exigent circumstances. So the 2 shots after the 2 shots through the window. Yeah, this doesn't look good for any of you. Okay, but wait, you said officer. This isn't an officer at this point, by the way, because they have no. We still haven't passed that hurdle. You still haven't shown that they have the right to do this, but they say that the officer can't discharge his weapon just to stop a vehicle, and that they where was the part that you said? You said imminent danger. The vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appear to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. They had plenty of time. You know how I know they had plenty of time? Because at most he got a little boo-boo on his knee. He might have got a little bit of boozing on his knee. So he did move out of the path in time. So even if, which we still, again, you still haven't shown that they have the authority to do this stop. So it's an illegal stop, but let's just pretend for 2 seconds that it wasn't. They still don't have the right. Those 2 shots through the window, explain those. Explain the 2 shots through the window. Did he have the right to fire those 2 shots? Why does ICE wear gear that says police? I don't know. I honestly think it's meant to confuse people. You haven't got past the first argument of where they get their authority. Hey, leftist hosts, should the left stop encouraging 40-year-old white women to organize ICE Watch? No, we should spend more time videotaping ICE, because it seems like the more we videotape them, the more they commit crimes. Look it up, jackass. 18 U.S. 111. We already did both of those. All right. See how it's already up there? See how I've already clicked on it? While engaged in or on account of performance of official duties. That's the problem. They're not doing their official duties. Already did that one. 18 USC 1505. USC 1505. Obstruction of proceedings before departments, agencies. This is about civil investigations. Who's the jackass now, Kevin? You might be a wizard in your username, but not so much intellectually. This is about civil investigations. Try again. Ignore 18 USC code 1512. 18 USC 1512. Got it. You guys think I'm ignoring you. I want the answer. All right. Tampering with a witness. Whoever kills or attempts to kill another person with intent to prevent the attendance or testimony of a person in an official proceed. This is about killing a witness. Who was the witness that we killed here? Oh, I like this. I'm sorry. This is petty as hell. This is petty, but it seems like you guys should be able to name one. Who killed the witness? Who was it? That's fair. Like, I actually think that's fair. And I appreciate you saying that, Rib Tip. I will never argue for the ICE officer that shot that lady. I will also never put my family or myself in that position. That's fine. But you should be allowed to use your First Amendment to do what the First Amendment allows you to do. It shouldn't be a position that threatens your life by recording the police. Documenting what the police are doing should not be a a death sentence. Anybody else? Anybody else have a code that we can point to? God damn. Isn't this crazy? And for those of you, again, that debate, only talk about this. Because everything else is nuance. Like, you're never going to convince MAGA that this person's life wasn't in danger. It doesn't matter. They're never going to believe any of that. Ask them where they got the authority to do what they're doing. They don't have an answer for it. That's why this guy's going to lose. The way the law works, Kevin, is our laws give law enforcement the rights to do what they do. So ICE would need to be granted authority to conduct a traffic stop on a U.S. citizen for impeding a roadway in order for this to be an act against a law enforcement official. Where's the crime that says that you can't, first of all, prove that you can't prove that she was impeding them because there's an ICE car in front of her. So she can't drive in her lane. The only lane available for her is an open lane, which 2 ICE vehicles had already went through. On that video, you see one, but in the extended video from the neighbors, there's like multiple cars that have driven through. So they're not being impeded. They clearly can go around her, but she can't stay in her lane because there's an ICE vehicle blocking her lane of traffic. ICE was granted authority by the federal government. Who? Where was that authority granted? Where would I go to find that authority that says ICE can conduct traffic stops? A civilian would absolutely be convicted for this crime. This is murder. If I was out there recording this lady with a cell phone in front of her car, and there was another man trying to break into her car and pull her out, and she drove away, and I was standing in front of her, and instead of getting out of the way in Minnesota, which is not a stand your ground state, if the video showed me putting my phone down and grabbing my gun instead of getting out of the way, I would be charged with murder. That's how the law works in Minnesota. Abortion is not murder, actually. You should check our statutes. It's not. Try again. These have got a lot of big feelings today. Not a lot of anything else. Let me read this. Kelly said at the end of that video, he says, "Fucking bitch." After he shoots her. I haven't seen that part. Let's see. David said Officer Cell video was released. Did we watch? I think that's the one we just watched, right, Jen?
Yeah, there's that one, but then there's also Namaste sent another version. If you scroll up in our chat,
okay,
from Rogue.
David said, let's see, Jerry, thank you very much. Illusion said, I'm surprised nobody called her Antifa yet. Joel, thank you for the super chat. Click here real quick, make sure I got them all. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded, so as we watch these MAGA losers try and like defend this and figure out some way that they have authority outside of their own feelings, just a reminder, we are crowdfunded, and that's how we pay our bills here. Let's look at this. This is the one from Namaste. It's the Rogue Podestat. Yeah, this is the one we were talking about. There was like the neighbors video.
You can see the...
All right. This is her car. This is the ICE car that's blocking the roadway. You can tell that they're blocking the roadway because the road is the only thing that's plowed. And there's like a bike lane, and then there's a place for people to park. So clearly, this ICE vehicle is blocking the roadway. She has no option to go this way. She has no option to go backwards. Her only option is to go into this other lane because this ICE vehicle, and this is the person who eventually shoots her, is blocking the roadway.
Art Keller.
I keep proving my ignorance of the law by looking up the statutes that would give ICE the authority to do what they're doing, and you guys keep swinging and missing. A lot of big feelings today. Look, you don't have to be dumb. You can just admit that you're wrong and stop looking dumb. Just lose the ego a little bit. Admit that you don't have a statute here. You can't cite a statute that gives them the authority. You just want them to have the authority you think they should. You're no different than Asmongold, just online screaming about your feelings.
SUV driven by Renee Nicole Good. That's on the right there in the back.
No, Adam, it's not a lawful order to get out of the car because they don't have any authority to get out of the car. It's the same as if I tell her to get out of the car, she doesn't have to get out because it's not a lawful order because they have no authority over her.
The surveillance video taken by a home nearby. Agents can be seen milling about near the vehicle, then converging on it. And then you see right there the SUV begins to move, and that's when the shots are fired.
Mo here. Look at this. All right. The agent's approach here. Stop it right there. That's the agent approaching. This agent is safe. Now, again, this agent has no authority to approach her. So this is just a citizen in a mask screaming at a woman to get the fuck out of the car. This citizen with a mask wearing a fun little uniform in his little dress-up gear is approaching this car with no legal authority to do so. And this dipshit over here is safe, perfectly safe, arguing with the driver's wife right here. And the driver's wife is saying, I don't care. You can record me all you want. Do whatever you want. And she goes to try and get back in the car right there. You can see her pulling for the handle. Now, this citizen in his cute little costume then tries to remove her from the car. And this citizen, who is not in danger in any way, decides, I'm going to take my cell phone and stand in the middle of the road and break the law that they're accusing her of breaking, which is impeding a roadway, and then film her instead. So here he goes. Gets right in the way with the cell phone out, pulls a gun, and then you can see clearly, like just breaking it down slowly, like the car never goes straight. It's turning the entire time. There is no expectation. You can see it. The first move forward goes that way. ICE agent who is right here, and again is a citizen with no authority to conduct a traffic stop or stand in the middle of the road and impede traffic, pulls a gun, shoots, gets out of the way, maybe got a little ouchie boo-boo on his knee there. He got a little bluesy there on his knee. Shot. Even if you think that this first shot is justified, now he's completely out of harm's way and fires 2 more shots while chasing down the car through the window. So even if somehow this first shot is justified, shots 2 and 3, there is no law that protects that. Not from the DOJ, not from ICE's handbook, not from their training. Nothing says that this person can fire shot 2 or 3. I'm not leaving out the first part of the video. I'm showing this video. But again, we can't really get to this part until you guys tell me where they get the authority to approach the car. Come on, guys. You can do it. Use the internet. 8 USC 1357. Thank you. 8 USC 1357. We'll try this again. 8 USC 1357, which you can see we've already clicked on this before. Powers of immigration officers and employees. Is that not loading? Is my internet crashing again? Are they coming after me? Any officer, employee authorized under regulation prescribed by the Attorney General have power without warrant to interrogate any alien, not an alien, or person believed to be an alien. They didn't believe she was an alien. They were talking to the wife. They were accusing her of following them. So they clearly, in their own words, don't think this is an alien. Arrest any alien. Is there a part in here that I'm missing? This is what we're saying. Federal officers, they have more power than any city or state officer. If you get charged, good luck finding a good job. No, they don't. No, they have the duties that they have been given. They don't get, just because you're a federal officer doesn't mean you get the officers or the duties and the powers from the state. It says exactly what they're allowed to do here. Try again, bitches. We're on that 2 months later. SCOTUS Wood v. Moss. Federal officers may order people to move for safety during lawful operations. They didn't ask her to move. They asked her to get out of her car. But let's look that up. Woods v. Moss. While campaigning, this is from Bush. Local law enforcement, not ICE, permitted supporters and protesters to assemble on opposite sides of a street along the motorcade route. The president made a last-minute decision to have dinner at an inn's outdoor patio before going to the cottage. Protesters moved from the front of the inn within weapons range of the president. Supporters remained in their original location where a building blocked sight of and weapons access to the patio. At the direction of the Secret Service, police moved protesters 2 blocks away. They did not require guests already inside the inn to leave, avoid the patio, or go through. Yeah, so that would be during their official duties, right? This has nothing to do with ICE. This is Secret Service. Whoops. So we got a case that doesn't apply here because it's within their official duties, and you cited this, which is about aliens. Want to try again? Federal agents have physical jurisdiction throughout the entire U.S. and territories. Yes, to do the job that they're allowed to do. They can't just do anything that they want. If I'm right, why haven't they arrested the ICE agents? They're investigating right now. That's why. No, it is rage baiting to ask them for law. They don't like to bring things up. Belio Belos, we've already done 18 USC 11. Watch. When I search 18, like literally the first thing that comes up, I've literally clicked on it a million times. This is about, again, while engaged in or account of performance of official duties. So you have to show me that this was ICE's official duties. Well, ICE is saying that she was blocking the roadway. They're not allowed to tell her to get out of her car. They can ask her to move, but they can't remove her from her car. And she wasn't blocking the roadway. She was being blocked by ICE. You want to see the agents record? No, I don't care about the agents recording. Again, Larry, you don't get to, Larry, until you can tell me where they get the authority, then you don't get to make demands here. I think the federal government is stopping Minnesota. They're not participating in the investigation. Minnesota can still charge him. It's just that the federal agencies are saying that they're not going to work with Minnesota. Now, this will probably become a Supreme Court's case. SCOTUS hasn't. SCOTUS has ruled on this? Where did SCOTUS rule on this? Literally 18 USC 11 is up, Dirty Laundry. Look at the screen. It's up here. And the highlighted section is, again, how are these official duties? Belioso Bellos, tell me how this is how this would be them engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties. What part of their official duties allows them to do traffic stops? I don't know. I'm just going to keep citing this. All right. I'll move on to some other clips while we go, so it's not just me responding to you all day. But if anybody can tell me where they get this authority, that would be great. And then I'll side with you, by the way. Then I'll side with you. That he was. Then we can move on to the next part. We have to get to the part where did they have authority to do this? Then if they had authority, then we have to decide was it justified, and then we have to look at the laws that govern them. And then I think you might have an argument for the first shot, but shots 2 and 3, once he was no longer in danger, there's no justification for that. So then you'll lose. Jen, did you have something?
Yeah, I just you want to update the total?
Oh yeah.
For us?
Let me Let me play this video while I'm updating the total. Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis, was seen on video saying, "Get the fuck out of our city." And because MAGA are a bunch of sensitive Sallies, they're all up in arms to, he said a potty word. He did a bad word. And this was his response.
And Mr. Mayor, after you told ICE to get the F out of the city, I've seen a lot of Republicans here in Washington criticizing those comments, saying that you're escalating tensions with that. Can you respond to them, and what do you say to them tonight, people who criticize those comments?
I'm so sorry if I offended their Disney princess ears, but here's the thing. If we're talking about what's inflammatory, on the one hand, you got someone who dropped an F-bomb, and on the other hand, you got someone who killed somebody else. F-bomb, killing somebody. I think the more inflammatory action is killing somebody. And so, once again, let's be real and just honest and straight up about what's happening.
Now they're advocating this. The federal employees, they get it from the highest position in the country. If you're granted permission by POTUS to do whatever you want, and you hire the handicap equals Gestapo, what? They don't, but they can't get permission from the president. I think maybe you're mocking them.
Here, this is not okay. The way they're coming into cities, not just Minneapolis, but around the country, is not okay. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should understand the importance of constitutional law enforcement. You should understand the importance of not discriminating based on race and randomly plucking people off the street because they're Somali or Latino. And especially from what we've seen, you should also understand the importance of de-escalating tense situations, not killing people and yanking out a gun.
We already played the footage. There is no body cam footage, R.L. Strange. There's cell phone footage, and I actually already played it.
And so, again, I'm not going to preempt the investigation. It is important that we do that. And at the same time, you want to make a big deal about an F-bomb. Let's make a big deal about our Constitution. I think that's probably the better route.
I love it. DOD Directive 5210.56. DOD Directive. DOD Directive. Give me that one more time. What was it? It was 5210.56. Whatever you want to say about me. At least I looked this stuff up. I'm doing it all for you. I'm giving you my own platform to prove me wrong here. By the way, also, if you would like to talk to me one-on-one and we can look stuff up together, you're welcome to come up here. If you message GenDub1 on Discord, we can bring you up. You can talk to me live. DOD Directive, this is from 2020, arming and the use of force. All right. Purpose. This establishes policy and standards and assigns responsibilities for arming, carrying of firearms and the use of force by DOD personnel. Let's see if I can. Oops, over here. That'll be a way for me to. There we go. Establishes policy and standards and assigns responsibility, yada, yada, yada. Where were we? Of DOD personnel performing security and protection, law and order, investigative, or counterintelligence duties, and for personal protection when related to the performance of official duties. So this is the part where you guys are stuck. You have to tell me how. Like, I need a statute that shows that this was their official duties. Is there body cam out? If there's body cam out, I'm not aware of it. Jen, will you look? As far as I know, there's only cell phone footage out from that officer. You guys might think it's body cam. As far as I know, there's no body cam. But if there is, somebody's gonna have to find it. Let's read the rest though. Let's pretend that this is official duties, I guess. Establish policy and standards, provides requirements, authorizations. Where's the part that talks about use of force? That's 3.4. So that's going to be use of force 3.4. That's page 15 here. Let's go down to page 15. All right. DOD personnel, and I think this is updated. This is the 2020 version. I think this has been updated, but DOD personnel armed in accordance with this directive are authorized. Wait, this is Department of Defense? Wait, this doesn't apply. This is Department of Defense. No, we're not reading that. These guys aren't, it doesn't apply to them. They're not Department of Defense. Sorry. 18 USC 1512 D3. All right. USC. Yeah, we're getting grumpy. USC 1512 D3. Pull that up. Oh, it's crazy. We've actually already clicked on this one too. That's wild. All right, this is with tampering with civil witnesses. So we're going to go down to D, or I guess it would be 3D. D3. Arresting or seeking the arrest of another person in connection with a federal offense. Whoever intentionally harasses another person and thereby hinders, delays, prevents, or dissuades any person from attending or testifying. Again, this is, just so we're clear, I'll go back to it. This is about tampering with a witness. Like, you understand what you're reading at the top, right? Do you know how laws work? This is about tampering with a witness, victim, or informant. Who is the witness, victim, or informant here? Federal offense. What's the federal offense here? Impeding a roadway is a local civil infraction. It's not a federal offense. So even if this wasn't about a witness, it still wouldn't apply. Just for 1 sec, just open your mind to the idea that you might be wrong. This is getting pathetic. Every single one, we haven't brought up a single new one today. We've covered all of these. And again, yes, thank you. Even if they had authority, they shot a vehicle that was fleeing through the window, not the windshield, the 2 shots through the window. They're not allowed to shoot a vehicle for fleeing. They've broken every rule. There is no statute that justifies anything that they did. But we can't even get past the first part where you're going to explain to me how they had the authority to do that. All right. Impeding a federal arrest is, though? That's a federal... It's not a federal arrest. She wasn't being arrested because they can't arrest her because she's a U.S. citizen. They can detain U.S. citizens if that citizen is obstructing from their official duties, but she wasn't. So they can't even detain her. FBI took over FBI is not going to do shit about this. I mean, I actually think if we're even remotely still a democracy at all, if we're not full-blown authoritarianism, this guy's going to go down. Like, he's going to be fired. They'll probably try and cover it up and give him something simple, but like, there's no way this person keeps their job under any administration that is following the law. It's not possible. We are a democracy, you silly goose. Here we go, guys. Twitch dropped the live? Guys, we got the we're not a democracy people in here now. He's going to tell us about a constitutional republic or a representative republic, and he's not going to recognize that that's a form of democracy.
Yeah.
What's up, Jen? Did you update that number?
I sent it to you a while ago.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we got the republic. Hey guys, I'm going to just break this down for you in a simple way. Democracies, a constitutional republic is like this. It's like saying a Toyota. A Toyota is a type of vehicle. A constitutional republic is a specific type of vehicle. So it is a democracy. It's not a direct democracy, but we are a democracy. Constitutional republic falls underneath that. I know it's hard to understand.
I like this. America's not a democracy and not a form of democracy. That's true. America is a colloquial term that we use for the United States of America, which is a country. And the form of government that we have is a democracy. And as more specifically, a constitutional republic, which is a form of democracy. This is why they don't want you guys going to school. This is why they want to defund the Department of Education. They just want to keep you dumb. That's what they want to do.
It's crazy. So we've got about 40 minutes left of the show. The gift calls left 133 left. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out that gift code. So if you guys could help us out, knock that out before the end of the show, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't subscribed to us already, please do so. If you're a paid member, We have members only events on Mondays, so if you'd like to join us for that, be a paid member on any of the platforms you're watching. I don't know if you want any opposition.
Yeah, gladly.
So if you guys disagree with RTP, you can actually come up and have a conversation with them. And how you do that is if you look at the Venmo username, that's my Discord. You can send me a message on Discord, and I can bring you up to talk in real time. Doesn't cost anything. Discord's a free app. I can bring you up and have a conversation. You just don't have to scream in the comments. And also, fun fact, if you're typing in all caps, we're just going to mute you, time you out. Yelling your points is not going to get you anywhere. It's annoying more than anything. So typing in all caps will just time you out. We don't really give a shit anymore. And then check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Did you hear about the troop of mimes who were arrested?
I didn't. That sounds terrible.
They committed unspeakable acts.
Just a quick Google search for you MAGA. You guys could, before you say something stupid, you could Google it. Yes, a constitutional republic is a form of democracy. More specifically, it is a representative democracy that operates under the rule of a written constitution which limits the power of government and protects minority rights. That is, you could just Google things, or you could repeat shit that you guys all say. No, they're not different. Tamika, what are we talking about here? Democracy and republic are different. Nope. A democracy and republic, they do mean two different things, but we are a democracy. That's why you vote, right? Cool. All right. JD Vance has been going online. JD Vance, who is the vice president of the United States, is getting in Twitter wars, and it's going so poorly for him because JD Vance is a dipshit, and so that's how it's oh shit. That's how it's going to go. But here's JD Vance here responding to this. I'm a former defense attorney and currently a civil liberties attorney with no political dog in this fight. I watched the video at least 10 times from different angles and at different speeds and waited to offer an opinion, which I still reserve the right to change if additional information changes the calculus. It is very clear that the officers instigated the confrontation. Facts. It's very clear. The woman initially tried to wave them past her, and she verbally said, "Go around." In fact, one set of ICE agents in a car did take the sign that she gave them to go around and went around. So that's clear. ICE officers, again, as an attorney here, have no authority to search a U.S. citizen or arrest her unless there's probable cause to believe she's harboring undocumented individuals. Her windows are down, unless they thought the dog in the back of the car was an undocumented individual, and I don't think they can. I don't think they can investigate a dog. A woman surrounded by masked armed men who have no law enforcement authority over her has every right to try to escape. Video shows her steering wheel is turned to the right, clearly an attempt to leave without hitting anyone and steer clear of the officer standing towards the front of the car. That officer had time to step to the side, which is where he was when he shot her. Even a real police officer would not have the right to shoot at her. I like that. Even a real police officer. For trying to flee. This is well established in the case law. Deadly force may not be used simply to prevent someone from getting away. Given that the ICE officers had no law enforcement authority to begin with, and the video footage shows she was trying to escape a perceived threat, not to kill anyone, the crime is all the more inexcusable. JD Vance then says, first of all, she's not waving the officers through. What was she doing with her hand? And when she said go around, what did that mean, JD? I'm convinced that none of these people saw the videos, or they're just like prolific liars. She's waving another car through. She's waving everybody through. Second, the officers are not randomly searching her. They are approaching her vehicle because she is violating the law. Namely, she's obstructing a lawful enforcement operation. Is she? Because they can go around her, and she can't go in her lane because one of their cars is in front of her. Should she have driven through the other ICE vehicle? Where was she supposed to go if not out into that other lane? Can somebody let's do this real quick for JD, who apparently hasn't seen the video. Let's go back to that one Jen sent me because that's the best view of it. Let's go back here. Here's a still of it. This is her car. This right here is the ICE vehicle in front of her. So she can't go in that lane. Her only option is this lane. She has nowhere to go. No reasonable person would see this video and say, oh, she could have went this way. No, she can't go this way because she's right there. And you can see right here another vehicle, the first ICE vehicle, going around her. So JD seems to be wrong about even if she's obstructing. Going back, you're not allowed to walk up to or drive up to people who are enforcing the law to make it harder for them to do their jobs. I don't think she did that. She's in her car, and her car is sitting still. The truck that the ICE agents came in were nowhere near her. They drove up to her. It's crazy to watch JD Vance in real time just be wrong about every detail of how this happened. Third, this defense attorney is drawing a meaningless distinction between an ICE officer and a real police officer. It's meaningless. Why do we have laws for them? Why do we have laws that say what their powers are if it's meaningless? Why don't all law enforcement officers just have the exact same rights then, or the same duties? It's just meaningless, says JD. Again, you're not allowed to interpret a lawful enforcement operation, which is exactly what this woman was doing. What was the lawful enforcement operation? Driving down the road. There is a lane of traffic that is open, but this lane of traffic is blocked by an ICE vehicle and then her, so she's the problem. Fourth, the officer didn't discharge his weapon to prevent her from fleeing. When he discharged his weapon, she had pointed the vehicle at him and pressed the gas. Now, look, you can argue that. I get it. She's no longer with us. Nobody's ever going to know her intent. We're always going to guess what her intent was. I don't even bother arguing this point because neither side can prove it. I think it's pretty fucking clear that her wheels are turned and she's avoiding him. But whatever. Who even cares? He discharged his weapon in self-defense, and other angles of the video show the woman clearly hit the officer with the car while accelerating. Fine. What about the next two shots, though? He walks in front of the car with his cell phone. In the time that and this is what they're going to say. They're going to say, okay, you had time to get out of the way. But instead of getting out of the way, you put down your cell phone, you reached for your gun, you widened your stance, you aimed the gun, and you didn't move. All of that time you spent putting down your cell phone, getting your gun, you could have moved. So they would lose that in court anyways. But the second two shots, there's no justification for. Is there anybody in here on the tread? Yeah, the tread on me, daddy, Trump maggots. Is there any of you that can explain to me shots 2 and 3? How those are justified? How do you justify shots 2 and 3 sticking your firearm through the window? Yes, I saw the footage from his phone. And again, I don't think that they're right that he still could have moved out of the way. That'll be argued in court. But still, what about shots 2 and 3? What's the legal justification for shots 2 and 3, MAGA? Can you cite the law there? I'm asking a different question. I see your question, JRG. I don't know what the Minneapolis police chief said yet. Jen, will you find me whatever just tell me what he said. I don't know. He said a lot of things. I don't know specifically. But what about shots 2 and 3? Not one of you? Listen, One Love, I agree with you. I'm just trying to move the conversation. I agree. He should not have fired off shot 1. But that will be litigated. I understand why people think he was, I understand that people are going to say that his life was in jeopardy. That's what the court system's for. But what is shots 2 and 3 for? MHOC, you're taught to make sure the target is down? No, you're not. That's actually the exact opposite of what you're taught. You're not allowed to shoot at a fleeing vehicle. That's what the military might be shot in an act of war. But that's not what police officers taught. That's against the law. You can't shoot somebody fleeing in a car specifically. It says that. We got a justification there? Is his life in danger as she's driving away? Jasmine, I'm asking this question. You can answer my question, please. There's a lot of comments here. Eliminating the threat, that's illegal. Thanks, Maverick. I appreciate that. It's not a threat when it's driving away from you. Do you know what a threat is? Let's look this up. You said can police shoot a fleeing vehicle? Let's look this up, Maverick, with your guys' feelings. Yes, only under very strict conditions. Generally, when the vehicle or its occupants pose an imminent threat of deadly force to the officer or others. What was the imminent threat of deadly force to the officer or others while she's driving away? What is it? What's the imminent threat? She was told numerous times to quit following them. They're not allowed to tell her that. She's allowed to follow and film them. We have a First Amendment in this country. That's not listen, you said she hit one officer, and using logic, you can predict that she would be willing to do it again. No, that's like saying anybody who ever committed a violent crime can be shot no matter what because they did it once, so now they can do it again. No, that's why they're using the word imminent threat. Imminent means like right now, your life is in danger. It's not imminent. You don't get to just say like, oh, they did something bad one time. Now we can just shoot them. A lot of feelings, a lot of big feelings. Thank you. All right. Oh shit. I was playing that. I was playing the JD Vance thing. Go back to that. Well, let's just move on here because now JD Vance is saying things that are just absolutely untrue. And this is obviously crazy. JD Vance was in his fucking feelings. I think he knows what's going on. When you see this type of outrage and this type of acceleration of rhetoric, you know that like these people are on edge. And JD Vance is on edge and Donald Trump's on edge because like this is clearly a problem. And I think most Americans see this use of deadly force as unjustified.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for taking my question. So the head of Minnesota's investigations agency says that the U.S. Attorney's Office has essentially cut off the state investigations agency's access to the investigation.
Real quick, you said, you love how I don't respond to narratives. I'm not asking for narratives. I'm asking for laws. You have to cite a fucking law. I'm not interested in narratives. I don't have a narrative either. I'm using the law. Cite a law that says he was allowed to do any of this.
What is the precedent for that, and why shouldn't the Minnesota officials on the ground have access and evidence to work on this investigation?
Okay, I'll report on it. She was following the convoy for hours before being stopped and detained. She was exercising her First Amendment right. There, we reported on it. Thank you.
First of all, I wish the state officials in Minnesota would investigate why you have so many people who are using their vehicles and...
I don't want to answer your question. Here's the question that you should ask instead.
This is pathetic. This is what people who don't want to answer questions do. I'm going to hear the question you asked, and instead I'm going to tell you, I'm going to criticize somebody else. We just want to know about the law here. But hold on for a minute. I need to complain about some people, says JD Vance.
Other means to actually interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation. The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's
traffic stops are not federal enforcement law or actions, right? That's a civil offense on a local level.
a federal issue. That guy's protected by absolute immunity. He was...
Excuse me, does absolute immunity exist? Does absolute immunity exist? Is there a law called... somebody show me the law of absolute immunity that ICE has. Can somebody... we're going to need this now, too. I can't move on with the rest of this quote here. until somebody in MAGA cites the law that says absolute immunity exists. I'll wait. While we're waiting, here you go. While I'm waiting for you to cite the law, like nobody's as soft as a conservative. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Those conservative men are soft as shit. That's why every time you go to a conservative podcast, it's like, and now to our sponsor, Blue Chew. Your dick can work again. You don't have to scream at women when your dick doesn't work. This'll fix it. Alicia said 2 more shot by ICE yesterday in Portland. We'll get there. Jamie says $1 for every statute you have had to search. Damien said, love you guys. All caps for Jen. Rue said, avoiding a bullet is reasonable. Like, are we okay? Yeah. Susan said, thank you for the education and providing the resources that make MAGA's heads explode. Thinking makes their heads explode. I do like boys. Thank you. I like boys. I like girls. I like humans in general. I have a daughter. She has some friends that are boys. She has some friends that are girls. I like all of them. They're pretty cool. Did we cite the law yet? The absolute immunity law? I've seen Steven Crowder's video, but Steven Crowder doesn't cite any laws in that video. Steven Crowder just tries to prove that the guy couldn't have gotten out of the way. But again, I don't care if that honestly, if she ran him over, he still had no right to be standing in front of her car. There was no protection for him. There's no legal protection for him standing in front of her. You're going to have to cite the law that says he can try and detain her. And Steven Crowder, by the way, is a piece of shit, racist, abuser of his own wife. I care very little for what Steven Crowder says, but I did see his video, and it's as pathetic as you guys. All right. Where's the law? Well, we're still waiting. Absolute immunity. We're going to have to assume there's no such thing as absolute immunity. Introduced by the U.S. Supreme Court in Pearson v. Ray to shield officials from frivolous lawsuit, but its scope expanded significantly over time. Right, but not absolute immunity, right? Okay, so all of the MAGA, thank you, MAGA, in the chat for admitting J.D. Vance was wrong. Everybody give MAGA a round of applause in the chat for coming to an agreement with us that J.D. Vance is lying when he says there's something called absolute immunity.
Is doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you guys ask him to do traffic stops on American citizens? You didn't? Oh, okay.
Thanks for taking my question.
Okay, great. The laws that I'm stating were violated were, number 1, attempted unlawful detention, assault, and murder. Those are the laws, and impeding a roadway, impeding traffic. That was by the ICE officer who blocked her from being able to travel down her lane and then stood in front of her car before shooting her. Those are the laws that I believe were broken.
The head of Minnesota's investigations agency says that the U.S. Attorney's Office has essentially cut off the state investigations agency's access to the investigation. What is the precedent for that, and why shouldn't the Minnesota officials on the ground have access and evidence to work on this investigation?
First of all, I wish the state officials in Minnesota would investigate.
I already did that. No absolute immunity. Great. I'm gonna have to skip through some stuff because I only have like 30 or 40 minutes left. Let's get to Portland. This is Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Now, we don't have video on the shooting in Portland, so I want to start with this. It is entirely possible that the shooting that happened in Portland by ICE agents was justified by the law. I'm not making a claim here. If we get body cam video, that will be helpful. If we get security video, that will be helpful. I'm just pointing out what we know so far, and what I see is some potential inconsistencies, but I want to make it really clear that I'm not making a judgment on what happened in Portland until we see more evidence. But the Attorney General of Oregon is announcing an investigation into the shooting involving these agents, which is great. This is what we should have. We should have an investigation. Anytime there's a shooting, there should be an investigation, which one more time goes to show that Republicans don't seem to care about the justice system because they are demanding no investigation into a shooting. That's crazy. Anytime an officer shoots somebody, there's an investigation. There should always be an investigation. So this administration advocating for no investigation is really silly. But here's what happened. He said, we've been clear about our concerns with excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland and nationally. We've also been clear about our intent to investigate circumstances involving federal agents to ensure they're accountable to acting within the scope of their official duties. Today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability. Our office will take every step necessary to ensure that the rights and security of Oregonians are protected. MAGA, raise your hand if you believe that the people, these ICE agents, I think these are Border Patrol. I don't think they're ICE. I think it's Border Patrol agents, actually, should be investigated for the shooting. Just MAGA. That's all I want to see. Do you think there should be an investigation? Thumbs up if yes, thumbs down if no. See, they're saying no. Yeah, that's what I thought. Weird, MAGA, how come... No, we shouldn't, says huge balls. Hell no. No, we don't want to see we don't want transparency. We just need to trust our government. Tread on me, baby. We went from I don't trust the government to I literally only trust the government so fucking fast. All right, what happened? Let's see. Let's get into the details a little more. What happened? DOJ is opening a formal investigation into an incident in Portland in which 2 people were shot and injured during an encounter with federal agents. The investigation will look into whether any federal officer acted outside the scope of their lawful authority and will include witness interviews, video evidence, and other relevant materials. If evidence of criminal conduct is found, cases will be referred to the Multnomah County District Attorney for prosecution. Here's one of the things that I find interesting in this video is that there's not video in this case. There's no video. But the people that got shot and drove away then called the police. And for the DOJ is saying that these were gang members. They have a history of lying about that, which is tough. You can see here, if I can make it any bigger. This is kind of the map here. At 2:24, the officers received information that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting help in the area of Northeast 146th. This is where they were found. This is where the shooting took place. They drove here, and then they called. Officers responded and found a male and female with apparent gunshot wounds. Officers applied a tourniquet and summoned emergency medical personnel. The patients were transported to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. Officers have determined the 2 people were injured in the shooting involving federal agents. I do think it would be odd to me if these were violent gang members who then went and called the police after they were shot. Again, not making a judgment though. That part just is what makes it seem a little bit off. This could very well be a justified shooting. We have no idea yet. But let me go here to a couple. I'm gonna go down to 16. I want to give you instance after instance after instance of ICE going above and beyond what they're allowed to do and obviously breaking the law. And some of this is video, some of this is testimony. I recognize that MAGA is not going to accept the testimony on this stuff, but the video evidence on some of these other clips will be pretty transparent. This is a pastor in Minneapolis that went out to protest after the shooting, and listen to what happened to this pastor.
Church yesterday, I noticed that there was something going on just a block and a half.
Actually, let me take care of this real quick. Don't let ICE into Winco parking lot on a busy Sunday. Vessel Vocal said, Minnesota, I know this hurts. We'll be okay. Guy Fox said, you see ICE training is down to 47 days. Jesus. Lunchtime said enhanced audio vids. So shows she said I'm pulling out. True. I've seen that. Pull up the video from Chicago PD Superintendent Larry Snell explaining why that force was needed. Okay, I can pull that up here in a minute. Jenna, can you find that? I still, just to be clear, that's going to be somebody's opinion. they still like. I would like to see if Larry Snell could explain why they had the right to do that. I don't know if he explains that in there or not. I'd like to see that. Cascus, thank you for the super chat, and Joel as well. Illusion said, "I'm surprised nobody called her Antifa yet." Simps, oh, they did. All right.
From the church. And so I grabbed my whistles because we're used to doing that. And I went down to see what was going on. And I realized it was an ICE raid. And there were many, many protesters. So I joined the protesting. And before I knew it, I saw ICE agents circling.
Getting gayer by the sentence. Thank you.
Young woman who appeared to be Hispanic. And so I approached her, and we were at that point chanting, "We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Go."
Nice lisp. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Go out of our state. We are not afraid. And I said to this ICE agent, "Take me. Stop harassing her. Take me." The agent came, got in my face, pointed a gun at me, and said, "Are you afraid now?" To which I said, "I am not afraid." The next thing I knew, they were putting handcuffs on me, and they put me in the back of an SUV. They came back 3 times, and they asked me if I was afraid yet. To which I replied, "Hell no, I'm not afraid of you, and I'm never going to be afraid of you." The 3rd time when they came back, they asked for my identification. They asked for my cell phone. I asked them if I was under arrest. They didn't answer. And then they said to me, "Well, you're white. You won't be any fun anyway. You can get out of the car." I was astounded to experience and see such blatant racism and the effects that this is having on our community.
I'm like watching you all call him a demon. Demons aren't real. You guys live in a fucking fantasy world. This man is a demon. Jesus Christ, this isn't Harry Potter. What the fuck are you guys talking about? These are humans. Like nobody gives a fuck about your Sky Daddy in the fairy tale world that you live in. Well, this guy probably likes gay people. Yeah, he's not a bigot. Whatever you want to say seems made up. And I knew that you guys were going to say that seems made up. So I thought I would show you a video of an ICE officer pulling a gun and aiming it at somebody's head who was not a threat to them. This happened on the same day at the same place. I'm going to guess this is probably the same ICE agent. You see this right here on the corner. You see this woman walk up right here. And you'll see an ICE agent pull out a pistol and aim it directly at her head.
Oh shit, he's got his gun.
Kind of makes it feel like it's real. Want to see it again? These little thin-skinned bitches.
Oh shit, he's got his gun. He's got.
Yeah, these are all pussies. They're just like you guys. You're just angry little incel pussies. And I mean pussy not in the way like, oh, now they're all gonna threaten to fight me, right? But like, I don't really, like, if your feelings get hurt to the point that you need to fight, like that's what you are. You're a pussy. He said something that I don't like. I want to fight him. What'd she do? Is this, I don't know, maybe this is the closest he's ever been to a woman. It's scary. I've never been this close to a woman. Not consensually, at least. Pulls a gun on this. She's just standing there with her arms out. This fucking bitch pulls a gun. And you guys are, yeah, those are our guys. It goes, if you're cheerleading this, we're only left to assume that you two are a thin-skinned, frail, fragile little bitch. And that's what you guys do. I'm sorry that a woman was near you. Freak the fuck out a little bit more, would you? So that's why I believe his story, because this is at the same place. This is where he was protesting. And he said that a guy pulled a pistol and put it in his face. Oh, that sounds far-fetched. It does sound far-fetched until you watch a video of this guy.
Oh shit, he's got his gun.
That's an arrestable offense, by the way. It's an arrestable offense. Listen to this, fairy. Guys, the gay slurs, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you call me gay. I'm not a little bitch. Like, there's nothing wrong with being gay. Maybe I'll give it a shot sometime. We'll see. We have this video. Just a reminder that these are not good people. This is an off-duty ICE agent. So this is an ICE agent in the same way, with the same amount of power that we see in Minnesota, shooting people in their cars. He has no authority to do this. This is an off-duty ICE agent deciding he's going to do traffic enforcement on his time off.
Stop! Slow down! Slow down! Stand up! Stop! Freeze! Police!
Freeze police.
Put the car in park! Right now! Put the car in park!
They are bitches.
Stop!
Ban anybody who talks about my kid. You can take shots at me. We don't talk about my kid in here. How about this?
This one shames. This is a tragedy in many respects, but
ICE employee among 16 men arrested in Bloomington in a sex trafficking sting.
People at the Department of Homeland Security, I know there are great people there that come to work every single day and do their jobs and do it admirably.
Yeah, I know he identified as police and not a federal agent, but he was an ICE agent. Yeah, so he lied. He's maybe untrained and also kind of pathetic.
Definitely, Mr. recently married back here is not one of those people. He works for ICE, and he is an auditor for them, a civilian employee. When he was arrested, he said, "I'm ICE boys." Well, you know, unfortunately for him, we locked him up, we put him in our jail. He got reappropriated to our jail, and my understanding is he helped send people to send federal authorities. I think he's going to see some federal authorities because I think the feds are going to take this case.
Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges gave...
All right. What about this ICE agent here, this Gem? Notice how they always, when they get in trouble, they're like, "I'm ICE, bro." They legitimately think they're above the law. You may remember this one.
Serious charges after allegedly driving drunk with 2 young children in his car. Tonight, we're seeing new video of the traffic stop that led to his arrest.
Where are you coming from? Miami down here to Colorado and then back.
It was August 13th when Monroe County deputies got a call about a car swerving in and out of traffic in Key Largo.
I'm federal.
Okay.
I'm trying to get home. I got my boys with me.
Who do you work for?
DHS.
Deputies found the car near mile marker 36 and a half. 42-year-old Scott DeSareth behind the wheel. DeSareth claimed to work for the Department of Homeland Security.
Do you have your ID with you? No, I don't.
Okay.
But if I called them, they'd verify that you're a 100%, bro.
Deputies say DeSareth smelled strongly of alcohol and was clearly disoriented, unable to tell where he was or where he was going.
You're about 100 miles off of where you think you are. Oh, no. You are.
DeSareth is told to exit the car. He becomes increasingly irritated, asking this of one of the deputies.
You don't want to get hit. You don't want you to get hit. That's why we're trying to do the exercise. That way we can move on.
Are you Haitian?
That's not
Are you Haitian? There's the racism just immediately comes out.
My question was, are you Haitian? It doesn't matter.
Driving with his kids in the car, and the first thing he does to try and get out of it is deflect blame from his bitch ass and be a racist.
No matter where he's from. Okay.
After failing a series of field sobriety tests, DeSareth was arrested, but not without putting up a fight.
Okay. Let's go to the other side. Come here. Come on, man. Don't pull against me. Let's go over I'm not moving, bro. Don't do this.
Let's go.
Lane. Okay, I'm gonna...
Hey, come on, buddy. We're not doing this.
DeSareth was charged with DUI and child endangerment. The 2 children were turned over to their mother.
This is the 5th guy. Not one guy is equal to all. This is the 5th guy.
Authorities say ICE has not fired DeSareth, but they expect him to go through.
I'm not generalizing. I'm just showing you examples of ICE people. You know, you guys are generalizing. You've been generalizing the left all day. Suddenly, when the generalizing is on ICE, how about this? How about this raid?
Footage captured the moment more than a dozen ICE agents.
Talk about this one. Where's the full screen?
raided this Burnsville home.
They break in this one.
Angel Alvarado says
They force it.
4 of his family members were upstairs.
They were hiding here.
Sophia Alvarado says her husband owns the home. She says she and the 3 others upstairs were eventually able to prove they're U.S. citizens.
Police! Police, come out with your hands up.
Sophia says it started when a couple renting their basement
Now, this is ICE. Actually, let her tell the story here.
was headed home from the grocery store and stopped by ICE agents. Ring camera footage shows ICE agents detaining the man. The woman ran to the house and hid with her 7-year-old.
The one that she runs from outside, she was hiding here with the little kid.
ICE detained both of the 7-year-old boy's parents. ICE also detained another man downstairs and a 4th, a father to 2 kids with a 3rd on the way. His wife, who asked to be anonymous, is 6 months pregnant. She says her family came here illegally from Honduras for work. She says ICE told her to voluntarily self-deport.
Now, what you're going to see in the chat here is they're going to say, "Oh, well, sorry, you shouldn't have been here illegally." But ICE doesn't have the ability to go into a house without a warrant. They broke down the door into a house without a warrant. There was no warrant during this 2025. This is in Burnsville. They never showed you can watch the video. They never showed a warrant. They didn't have a signed warrant. They followed the people to the house and then they broke in. And here's where you'll see MAGA then say, "That's fine. They can break the law. We don't need a warrant." It's just over and over and over. It's the same thing with you guys. The law doesn't seem to apply if you're going after brown people. But if Donald Trump's convicted of 34 felonies, the law is so unfair for white billionaires. I'm just showing you over and over that the people that they hire don't seem to give a goddamn about a warrant. In fact, DHS has confirmed, there's no warrant there. No judge has confirmed a warrant there. They certainly didn't have a signed warrant, which they're required to have if they're going to break into a house. But they didn't even have a warrant at all. It's not like they forgot the warrant, or it's not like they were getting a warrant and they didn't want to wait. There was never any evidence of a warrant at all. I know you hope I get deported. It's very frustrating to watch somebody show that your heroes are dipshits. But this in Washington.
And there's some video that's causing a little bit of controversy on the internet right now, showing ICE agents making a dramatic arrest in Spokane, Washington.
Let me stop this real quick. I read that one already. I got all these comments here. Brianna said, "Paying my cope dealer." Thank you. That was cope, not coke. That was cope that was said there. Rule said avoiding a bullet is reasonable. Are we okay? I think I read that one. Check with Jen here. Larissa said, "I know we're all hurting, but I'm also so tired of being saying they're astounded or shocked. Does no one remember 2020 regular cops black-bagged protesters, pepper sprayed, and tear gassed them? Why is anyone shocked that ICE is no better than what we saw in 2020? That's a good point. This is why people say ACAB. And it is a little pathetic, the bootlickers. It's fine if ICE it doesn't follow the law. It's fine if our police don't follow the law, as long as they're going after our folks. And then, Jan 6 happens. You storm the Capitol, and you dumb bitches call that peaceful. While this broke, the Minnesota story broke, we were in the middle of showing violent protesters beating the fuck out of cops on January 6th, while in real time, MAGA's like, "This is AI. These videos are fake." And then we showed Ashley Babbitt being given warning after warning after warning at gunpoint and then being shot, and MAGA going, "That's not justified." And then cut to the killing in Minnesota, and they're like, "Totally justified." It's just that you guys are on a side, a cult, a group, whatever you want to call it. You just want to see all of us dead. We get that. Jamar said, "Get out of the car. How dare you bring that Mexican dog to this country? We can't have bingo passing drugs." Shishi Mansfield, thank you, said, "For good old democracy." That was very generous. Thank you very much. Let's play this video.
Get out. Look. Open the door. No, you can. You can. It's illegal. Okay. Amigo. No. It's illegal.
Hey,
it's legal. Get out of my...
Hey,
No.
get out of your car.
Get out of my car.
Girl.
Get out, no.
Girl.
I have video. Look, it's raining. Hey.
No.
Hey, mira. Oh, my God. Open the door. It's raining.
Now, the woman that you hear in one of those videos, that is Kayla Somariva, and she says that this all happened 4 days ago when she, her husband, and her brother-in-law were headed out to court. She says that around a dozen officers surrounded their car, broke the windows, and then arrested the two men without showing a warrant. ICE says those men were citizens of Nicaragua, and they were suspected gang members. Our friend David Noriega joins us right now in the studio. David, I know...
Now, that's where MAGA stops. And this is where this is going to get a little depressing. I'm going to go a little bit over, but this is where it gets depressing because every time a video like this comes out, Christy Nome, or Chuck No-Ass, as we're calling her now, due to her Walker, Texas Ranger outfit, always says they're suspected gang members. And then when they go to court, oftentimes they turn out to be citizens. If they do turn out to be people who are here illegally, for some reason, the Department of Homeland Security, the DOJ, is never charging them with anything. They're not even alleging that they're gang members. That's what's interesting, and I'll show you the data on this in a minute, but that's what's real tough about this. MAGA will believe anything, and they will justify the cruelty, but both of those people were never charged as being gang members.
We've heard from both ICE and the woman here. Are their stories different? Are they similar?
Well, so look, what ICE is saying is that they basically knew who at least one of the people in the car was, that this was a person who they had tried to place a detainer on when they were in the custody of the local sheriff's department. And ICE has the authority to perform warrantless arrests, right? The way that most law enforcement does. If they have probable cause to believe somebody is in the United States violating immigration laws, they can try to effect an arrest and they can try to use reasonable force to effect that arrest. That is what ICE is saying happened in this situation. Of course, the video is very dramatic.
Thanks, Laura. Said a hard work fund or weak fund.
You know, the wife is strenuously denying that either her husband or her brother-in-law belong specifically to Tren de Aragua, which is the gang that the federal government is saying these two Nicaraguan men belong to.
And so, I mean, is there any proof that they are part of this gang?
Not that we've seen publicly. And I'll also tell you, Gotti, as a more general matters, I've been doing a ton of reporting on Tren de Aragua specifically in the way that it's sort of treated by the federal government. And so, you know, stay tuned for more on that. There are a lot of questions, significant questions that haven't really been...
Brian, you want to know why you've never encountered a masculine liberal man? You're going to want to change your settings on Grindr. You probably have settings like you're probably specifically looking for twinks. If you want to change the settings to like a bear. I don't know specifically how you do that, but I'm guessing it's something with your settings. But good luck to you. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Insert about the way that law enforcement at both the federal and local level identifies people as members of Tren de Aragua. It is an existing criminal organization with a real presence, but its boundaries are pretty blurry, it's pretty diffuse, and that is why, for example, the wife in this case is saying, you know, these people have nothing to do with this gang. This is not the only case in which someone has been accused of belonging to Tren de Aragua, and we've had family members come out and say that is not the case, including, for example, Venezuelan men who were temporarily detained at Guantanamo Bay.
Meanwhile, they said they were going to another court hearing, or there was some other court hearing going on. Yeah. Do we know what that was for?
Not an immigration case. Apparently, the husband and brother-in-law were involved in some kind of criminal case related to an altercation with a family member that happened in the past. That's about what we know from both the family, the wife, and the authorities as well.
David Noriega, thank you.
Right. Thanks for watching.
Again, once those went to court, the claim of them being in a gang, which is what allowed them the use of force, right? That's why they're allowed to smash in these windows, because they're like, oh, this is a violent gang member. We have to protect ourselves. But then they go to court and it's not a violent gang member. It's just a bunch of racists trying to be racist and deport brown people. And they'll use any force necessary, or any force that they view necessary. This is a Mother Jones article that's incredible. But like, they're lying consistently about who they're deporting, and they're lying about their actions. The Trump administration repeatedly claimed that it needs to send military into American cities because of the unique danger faced by federal agents enforcing immigration laws. In October, Trump claimed the National Guard was required in Illinois to protect immigration and customs enforcement agents facing a coordinated assault by violent groups. In September, Tricia McLaughlin argued guardsmen should be deployed in Oregon as a result of violent riots at ICE facilities, which we saw. But those and many similar assertions from the Trump administration are undercut by ICE's very own data. Mother Jones reviewed showed that there's little evidence that ICE agents face such severe and widespread danger compared with other law enforcement agencies that they need military personnel to come to their aid or to break from centuries of public accountability by hiding behind masks. If you look into these records, it shows that none of ICE's agents have ever been killed by an immigrant in the agency's more than 2-decade history. Zero. Instead, the leading cause of death by far among ICE officers is COVID. According to ICE's data, the second leading cause of death is cancer linked to 9/11. And the pandemic and cancers connected to the September 11th terrorist attacks account for 75% of the deaths in ICE's history. Data shows that the most recent ICE officer death attributed to something other than cancer or COVID occurred in 2021, but that incident did not involve an immigrant either. It occurred when a special agent died after his service weapon was accidentally discharged in a parking lot. In its history, 2 ICE officers have been shot to death by other people, according to their data. One was Jaime Jorge Zapata, who was killed by cartel members while on assignment in Mexico. The other was David Wilhelm, an ICE special agent who was killed at home in 2005 while off duty by a Baltimore-born man who had escaped from a Georgia courthouse. Other deaths are similarly tragic but do not fit the administration's narrative. One happened when a special agent was hit by a drunk driver while getting into a taxi in Miami. Another resulted from a special agent contracting dengue fever while on assignment in Indonesia. The only case listed by the agency of an ICE official dying while attempting to apprehend an undocumented immigrant happened when an officer had a heart attack during a foot pursuit in 2016. This is the list of cause of death listed on their wall of honor. You'll see here, none of it happened at the hands of somebody who was here illegally. So why do they tell you why do they tell you that they're being attacked like that? Because people are yelling at them to get hit by a snowball once in a while? That doesn't seem, that by comparison, that doesn't seem so dangerous, right? Let's look here. Where's this other one? Can I move it down here? Hold on. I had one more. I don't know. Maybe I deleted it. We'll move to this video. Reminder of this story. Remember, it was in the summer sometime when ICE went to Chicago. And they had like Black Hawk helicopters and they raided this place in the middle of the night. And they were like, we took down a gang apartment. Remember that story? That was one of the first like times we saw Greg Bovino there. Remember, you throwing a snowball, we throw lead. Yeah, that's why we don't think the ICE should exist, because they think being hit with a snowball should be met with death. That's crazy. On the night of the raid, heavily armed federal agents zip-tied Johnny Manuel Caicedo Ferreira's hands behind his back, marched him out of his Chicago apartment building, and put him against a wall to question him. As a Black Hawk helicopter roared overhead, the slender 28-year-old immigrant from Venezuela answered softly, his eyes darting to a television crew invited to film the raid. Next to Caicedo, masked border agents inspected another man's tattoos and asked him if he belonged to Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang that the Trump administration has designated a terrorist group. Until that moment, Caicedo's only interaction with law enforcement in 2.5 years in the United States had been a traffic stop 2 weeks earlier for driving without a license or insurance. Fine. No problem with them even detaining him for that. According to the records we reviewed, Chicago police had run a background check on him and found no prior arrests, no warrants, and no evidence that he was in a gang. Caicedo said he had a pending asylum application, a steady job at a taco joint, and a girlfriend whose daughter attended elementary school across the street. None of that mattered. The U.S. government paraded him and his neighbors in front of the cameras and called their arrest a spectacular victory against terrorism. But later, after the cameras had gone, prosecutors didn't charge Caicedo with a crime. Remember Kristi Noem walking up to people in front of their car saying, where did you come from? Tell us about the gang that you're a member of. And they made this whole parade. Then when they go in front of the court, they don't even charge him with a crime. Why not? Why not? Why do you guys accept them lying to you? I know that you don't care. Because I know that it doesn't matter to you if they're gang members or not. You want them all out of the country. I disagree with you. I think that that's stupid. But why don't you care that they lie to you? Why do you just sit there and let Trump and Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi lie right to your fucking face? And you're like, I don't even care. I love it when my government lies to me. Why doesn't that bother you? Honestly, I just want to hear, just tell me why it doesn't bother you. I just want to figure that out. They all lie. There we go. Everybody lies. I've just accepted it. Got it. You could just be mad at everybody who lies at you or lies to you. So anytime somebody tells you a lie from the government and it's exposed, just be equally mad regardless of which party they're in. Just call it out. We can't ever fix that everybody lies if we have dipshit pussies like you that are like, everybody lies, so I just take it from daddy government. Just call it out. What kind of cowardice is this? That when it's exposed, you're like, oh, I don't even care because everybody lies. What kind of cuck shit is that? Dude, the cuck chair, it's like the state of Texas. That's how big you would need it to get all of these MAGA cucks on the same chair. And are you allowed to look at each other in the eyes while you're watching? Or do you have to keep eyes forward? How does this work? I'm a liar? Okay. Show me where the government charged them with a crime then. No? Caicedo's quiet deportation contrasted with the drama of his capture during one of the most aggressive and highly publicized immigration raids carried out by the U.S. They brought around news teams. Shortly after midnight, 300 agents from Border Patrol, the FBI, and other agencies stormed the apartment complex. SWAT teams rappelled from a helicopter, knocked down doors, and hurled flashbang grenades. Remember, this is where children in the middle of the night that were not here illegally were just put out in the middle of the street at night. They were breaking down their doors. People that weren't here illegally, citizens of the United States, had their doors broken into. And they said that this was to take down a gang, but they didn't charge a single person with any sort of gang-related offense or any crime at all. They arrested 37 immigrants, most of them Venezuelans, who I guess at that time we didn't like Venezuelans. Now we're saving the Venezuelans, who were, authorities say, were in the country illegally. Agents also zip-tied and for several hours detained many U.S. citizens. Well, they shouldn't have been living around brown people. That's why I only live around the whites. Soon afterward, Trump's administration released a produced video of the operation. Officials said they had captured 2 confirmed members of Tren de Aragua, including one on a terrorist watch list. Stephen Miller, the White House Homeland Security advisor and architect of the nationwide immigration crackdown, declared that the building was filled with terrorists, that the raid had saved God knows how many lives, and that it was one of the most successful law enforcement operations that we've seen in this country. As ProPublica investigated, however, there's little evidence to support the government's claim. ProPublica has discovered the names of 21 of the detained Venezuelan men and women and interviewed 12 of them. We also spoke with dozens of their relatives, friends, and neighbors, and we reviewed U.S. public record databases and court websites, examined court documents and social media accounts, obtained audio and video recordings made that night, and attended the immigration court hearings. Federal prosecutors have not filed criminal charges against anyone arrested. Not one. Not fucking one. Why not? We're not charging gang members now? We're not charging terrorists now? Why not, MAGA? No, it's not a Discord. This is my show, dipshit. It's how this works. I talk to you when I want to. You guys are all welcome to come up here and talk to me. But no, I'm not going to read your fucking messages all day. If you need a friend, go find a friend. That's not what I'm doing here today. I'm not here to be your friend. No charges. How'd that happen? Yeah, they're being deported. Yeah. Why didn't they charge him with terrorism? They said they were terrorists. 2 confirmed terrorists. They just let him go? You guys can just go back to Venezuela. It's fine. Why not? I know, like, I know you want to insult me, but I am asking you a question. Why ask why? That's a good point. Yeah. Why ask why? Why ask you guys anything? All right. This is where we'll end. This is what Congress can do. I don't think they will do it, but Eric Swalwell is right. This is what needs to be done. We'll see.
We have to stop this. No one asked for this, and of course, this is where it was always going to end up. When you put masked thugs, unidentified, into our communities, of course, horrible things are going to happen. And now people feel like you're probably lucky if all that happens is you're thrown into a van that's unidentified or you're grabbed by your hair and dragged through the streets. But this started with ICE chasing people through the fields where they worked, and then they deported a U.S. citizen 4-year-old and battling stage 4 cancer, and then they started pulling people out of their homes. And today we have found ICE to have shot a mom in the face 3 times. Here's what we can do, because we're not helpless, and people may feel helpless. We're not helpless. And tell your leaders they're not helpless. We can strip them of their immunity, and I'm working on doing that in Congress. We can make sure that when we seek to fund them, we don't fund mass, and we don't fund them being unidentified. We also can make sure that local prosecutors and attorneys general across the country, particularly in blue states, use your law enforcement authorities.
Stay at home. Don't get killed. Yeah. Your government's killing you. Don't say anything about it. Just stay at home and let them tread all over you. Good idea.
They're going to falsely imprison people, kidnap people, assault people, commit battery, and now murder. Prosecute them. They only understand one language. It's either us and the most vulnerable in our communities on our heels or them on their heels. That's the only way to approach this, is to be on offense.
Look. All right. Somebody said, want a good laugh? Google Asmongold rat alarm. What is that? Jesus Christ. Is this his house? Is this legitimately how this guy lives? Is this like legit his house? Jesus. That's your guy? That's the guy there? What's the rat alarm? Let's see.
Get the dead rat out. I don't need to anymore. It doesn't smell bad. The thing is, I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock, actually, for my stream, because basically what happened was whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat, and then it would start smelling again, and then the smell would wake me up. So I would use the rat effectively as an alarm clock, and as soon as it got hot enough, it would wake me up, and then I would know, oh shit, it's time to stream.
There's no way. It's got to be joking, right?
Have you guys ever done that before?
There's no fucking way. He's bleeding gums and he would spread it across his wall. What in the world? Whoever told me about him 2 weeks ago, fuck you. I could have went the rest of my life without knowing who he was. That's crazy. Thank you. Eli says I'm off the hook for oversharing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jesus Christ, that's crazy. A parody. Look up the parody animation of him. I don't even. What do I look up? Parody animation of Asmongold. You guys knew about this guy?
I had seen something about him not too long ago.
Let's see. Asmongold versus YouTube. Is that what this is?
So yeah, chat, the thing is, you know how every other day someone thinks I'm getting banned? Let me tell you something. That's not going to happen. And even if it did, what would y'all even watch? And so, anyway, I was asked to review this new and delicate hydration drink called Slime. It's a hybrid drink and supposedly keeps you up all day. But let's be honest, it looks like shit. And, I mean, it's probably gonna taste like shit too. What the fuck? Okay, I know I joke all the time about sponsorship gods, but this is just ridiculous.
What is happening? This isn't real! This isn't real! This isn't real!
That doesn't interest me. I'll watch it. It's 23 minutes long. That didn't catch my attention. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know much about him, but I've just heard his takes on Minnesota, and he's remarkably emotional and uninformed. So the people saying like he's based or whatever, that makes sense. Given what I've seen from you today, it makes sense that you would like him. And it kind of sucks that somebody like Asmongold gets that many people to pay attention to him. Raina said, I can't bear most of these vids, but thank you. Thank you very much. Kristen said, MAGA loves anything that upsets the libs. Yeah, true. That's all they care about, honestly. I don't know what principles MAGA even has anymore. They're not like limited government. They're not anti-interventionalist. They're not fiscally conservative. I don't even know what you guys believe in anymore outside of Donald Trump. Janelle said, joining the dollar train. Thanks for your work. Jerry, I got that one. Larissa said, I know we're all hurting, but I'm also so tired of being, I read that one. Gotta show everyone the drive-by pepper spraying they did on a family in a car. They nail a 1-year-old. Just look up ice pepper spray 1-year-old. I tried to look it up. I saw the aftermath. I don't know if there's a video of them actually doing it, but I've seen that before, where they have like a 1-year-old that is just like bawling because ice pepper sprayed their car. But yeah, I don't think that what we see in the chat every day is representative of the rest of MAGA. I do think that the reason they're escalating so much right now is that they're feeling that strain, like they're feeling the cracks. And the truth is we just have to keep showing up every day. These turds that are here, they'll go back. They'll be forced back into the corners of the internet. They're having their moment. This is like the fascist moment. And I guess in some ways, maybe we should be grateful that the fascist movement that eventually took place in this country is led exclusively by dipshits and a senile old man. So I guess we could be grateful there. At least we didn't get like a smart fascist. At least we didn't get like a creative one. We didn't have somebody like Putin who was able to keep his mouth shut and keep things like close to his vest while they took over. We got a dumb, arrogant, bombastic one. So anyways, we'll be back on Monday. Reminder, Monday, we also have movie night. So, what's up, Jen?
We had a couple more at most. I don't know if you got Janelle's, the Dollar Train, and Renee for my next Texas Roadhouse date. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Renee.
And our other favorite guy who was helping promote our crowdfunding yesterday was back. It's very sad to be as angry as you are while you're taking people's money for your Jehovah cult.
That's right. Welcome everybody to the Jehovah cult. We'll be back. We'll do a movie night as the Jehovah cult Monday night. Make sure you're a paid member either on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok to join us for that movie night. If you're here, make sure wherever you're watching Twitch, TikTok, or YouTube that you're either subscribed or following, depending on which platform you're on. The replays for all our shows can be found on YouTube and Twitch for like a week or something like that. Maybe it's 2 weeks. Other than that, Jen, did I miss anything?
Nope. I think that's it.
Hold on. Somebody just said, Husky said, you'll pay me $133 to leave. All right. I have 5 more hours of this live to do, but I'll end my live right now, Husky Cloud. If you pay me $133 in a super chat, we'll end it right now. I'll skip the last 5 hours that I was about to do. You want to do it?
Now, you have to send the super chat first.
Yeah, you got to send the super chat, and then I'll end it, and we'll end the last 5 hours of the show. I dare you.
FAFO thinks you're a Jehovah's Witness. Seriously.
I am. This is a Jehovah's Witness channel. If you couldn't tell, that's what we're here for. This is a Jehovah's Witness meeting, for sure. Thank you all for being here.
All right, Husky, we can't leave until you send the super chat.
Yeah, I guess I could play some of our other ads here. I have this one. Like if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? It's not. Yeah, that's right. I am a little capitalist pig. You gonna do it? Who was it that offered that? Was he lying? Or did you got to check with mom and see if you can use the credit card? Otherwise, 5 more hours. You can protect your fellow MAGA friends. No? That was worth a shot. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, right here, wherever you're watching. I love each and every one of you, even the dipshits. Have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.